the man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
people barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe.
That's what
And these
happened.
women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
The Ekoko masquerades from Ute village, whose cult is connected with Obaeware and his mother, Elere, appear on this occasion to bless the Oba. Ekoko is a ritual masquerade that dances to please the guests and the Oba.
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
And welcome to TMI this morning on ITV, on the ITV network, where we get to delve into the twists, turns, the ups and the downs of the national topical issues that are shaping our political space and also our current space right here in Nigeria and even globally. We get to ask the critical questions and give the answers that are necessary right here on the program. I am Chukufumnanya Digwe, and I'll be right here in our Benin Network Center. As you know, we do this across 3 network centers, Benin here, Lagos, and Abuja. We get to have a very robust conversation on the issues that are shaping our national discourse. I'm not alone this morning. I'm doing this with the very insightful Harry Aibuji. A very wonderful morning to you, Harry.
Good morning, eloquent Fifi. I hope I'm permitted to call you.
Yes, you are.
All right. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be on this network, the TMI network. And of course, just like you did say, we have a whole lot to, beam our searchlight on this morning. A lot is happening in our nation, and just like the adage says, only someone whose head is not in the right place would go to sleep with his house on fire. So, I think every sane Nigerian should be concerned about what is going on in our country today, especially, as regards security and the rest of them. So, yeah, I think there's a whole lot to talk about today.
Definitely, there is a whole lot to talk about, and we are going to delve into it on the program this morning. On the top of the list happens to be the electoral amendment bill, that's been shaking the social space right here in Nigeria. Everybody's talking about it.
Because it's so much buzz,
Yeah, exactly. And, from... first of all, the Senate exempting the real-time transmission phrase from the bill to the Occupy NAS, it's been a whole lot. And now, them coming out to say real-time transmission, but there is still a but.
A clause.
Yeah, a clause. Yeah. So, there's all of this trending on, the current affairs fair in Nigeria.
Yes. I mean, within the few couple of days that have passed, a whole lot has happened as regards that. First, it was the rejection of the bill, and then the attendant protest that followed. A whole lot of people took to the streets in Abuja, especially, at the National Assembly complex, demanding for a review of that clause. Okay, now we heard that they went into an emergency plenary session and they're out with, some resolutions. And I think chief of such resolution is that, okay, yes, it's okay to have an electronic transmission of results, but with a but, just like you've said, right? And the but there, I think the major clause is that where network fails, then we can revert, to manual transmission. But that in itself has been generating a lot of, controversy, because people have been raising questions and, bringing up issues like, okay, is it that we can't rely solely on electronic transmission? Is it that we can't depend on is it that we don't have what it takes, to do things digitally without reverting to manual? Because I think Nigeria has come to a point where we should be able to, there are certain countries, I think I was going through, was it TikTok a couple of days ago, and I saw that there's a country where there is free Wi-Fi across board. So whatever part of the country in which you are, you can have access to, Wi-Fi. So I don't think it's something that we can't achieve in this country, even if not, across board, not in the 36 states of the Federation, but in certain parts of especially in matters of this nature, sensitive matters of this nature. I don't think it's too much to be able to transmit results digitally.
All right, we'll get to talk some more about that this morning on the program. There's something else that has caught my attention, and I would say has caught the attention of a whole lot of Nigerians out there. The security situation in Nigeria. Yes, time and time again, recurrently, we've heard of, attacks. We've heard of compromising situations that Nigerians have found themselves in. And in recent times, we've seen the U.S. intervening, or as some quarter of Nigerians would say, interfering. But anyway, they have been weighing in on the issues recently. I think January 1st was the first strike in Sokoto. That was the first, apart from all of the bantering from the U.S. president, right? That was the first action that the U.S. took. And now there's a bill. There's a bill out there to sanction a group, a body, bodies, I would say. Yeah. You have the Fulani, cattle herders, Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association. Yeah. You have also, a whole lot of people. Yeah. And then you have one specific person, Kwankwaso. What do you think about this? We have 5 U.S. lawmakers with this bill to sanction these bodies and Kwankwaso. What's your take on this?
It's a pretty interesting one, because when the U.S., I think when Donald Trump first raised an eyebrow, and of course when that first U.S. lawmaker drew attention to the activities in Nigeria, some persons were saying, oh, okay, just like you said, it's between the school of thought of those that believe that it's an intervention, and of course those that think it's an interference, so to speak. Well, either way, at some point, if we can't put our house in order, it's only proper that concerned bodies, concerned nations, concerned individuals, step in to help us put things, in the right place. Okay. Right now, it's no news that a lot of persons are being wasted in Nigeria, and it's not funny anymore. Now, the most interesting part of this, first off, I'm not even surprised that the Miyetti Allah and all the other, groups are under the radar of the U.S. But the interesting part is the involvement of a politician, and not just a politician, a high-profile one for that matter.
And one that is very actively involved in the upcoming 2027 elections.
So the big question here is, how does all of this pan out at the end of the day? What impact is this going to have on his political ambition? And what does this even say about him as someone who occupies a very key position in this country, someone who has occupied a key position before and who is also vying for a more serious position? So these questions are actually begging for answers, and we're hoping that somehow we'll be able to figure out the answers.
I guess Nigerians are constantly begging for answers from the people in the helms of affairs in the country. Well, just to clarify, this story, which we just looked into a little bit, is that 5 United States lawmakers have introduced a bill to the U.S. Congress seeking to impose sanctions on former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso, the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, and Miyetti Allah Kautal for alleged violations of religious freedoms. So yes, we'll get to talk some more about that as we go on in the program. Yes, I have my colleague in our Abuja Network Center, and also I have the beautiful Messelina in our Lagos Network Center standing by. Let's start from Tolu in our Abuja Network Center. Wonderful morning to you. How is it this Thursday morning for you, Tolu?
Yeah, wonderful morning to you. The weather is quite clement at the top of the hill right here in Papi in Abuja. And I also listened to your discussion this morning, taking a look at a series of events happening in the past few days right there. But from the Abuja Network, surely be talking about opportunities that are available for so many people to study abroad, looking at a global education, and also with the future of work, a lot of discussions about the kind of education our kids need to have to make them employable in any part of the world, knowing that in living in a world now means people can work for a top-rated companies outside the shores of this country. From the corner of their home, people are doing remote works and so many things. And that's why the future of work is important. Also, with the advent of AI, there's so much to be done and the creativity coming in young people. So we'll be taking that with some group of people from the United States who came into the country, and we'll be talking about the opportunities available for people who want to study abroad. This is what we're at from the Abuja Network Studio.
All right, thank you so much, Tolu, for your insights on what you'll be having for us today from the Abuja Network Center. We're really curious and we hope to see more later on. Now over to you, Mercelina Onko. Tell me, how's Lagos this morning and what do you have for us?
Good morning, Harry. Good morning, Tolu. Lagos is good. Lagos is beautiful. It's a beautiful Thursday morning. Okay, from Lagos, we saw recently that the U.S., they have decided to send 200 troops to Nigeria for military training support. You know, concerning the issue of insecurity, we've been seeing couple of videos on the internet of kidnapping and all of that for some time now, and the U.S. has decided, I mean, they've intervened already, but at this time they've decided to send 200 troops to Nigeria for military training. I mean, this might help, we do not know yet. So basically today we're looking at the U.S.-Nigerian security collaboration, a new era or a cause for concern. So we would be having a political analyst that would help us talk about it today.
All right, thank you so much, Mercy, for your insights right there. Just to remind you, you're still on to TMI on the ITV network. We have a whole lot in store for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll take an intermission now, after which TMI returns. Don't go away. Welcome back to TMI on the ITV network, and now is for another leg of the program where we get to take a holistic look into the headlines of our national dailies. It's the newspaper review segment, and to start off we'll begin with Daily Sun. One headline there says, "Trouble for Miyetti Allah as U.S. Congress pushes for terror organization tag." That story is on page 6, and we did happen to delve into it just a little bit. Okay, another story there. Headlines, North under siege, and that's said by ACF. Laments rising kidnapping, killings, terrorism in the region. Also on Daily Sun, a subrider says, bomb scare at Bayelsa Secretariat. Police arrest one suspect. You get to read all about that story on page 4. Moving on, Senate's principal officers, Wanyeboyin, hunger clash, disrupts works budget defense session. That's on page 8. Also, drama as Abure's Labour Party camp dislodges Usman Group from Secretariat. It goes on to say, police have arrested hoodlums who burgled our office, and that's said by Usman. Another headline there says, Dixon urges Harmonization Committee to adopt REP's version of Electoral Act amendment. Now that's on page 26. All of those stories are on Daily Sun, and if you want to read all about it, you get to grab yourself a copy. Over to you now, Harry.
All right, still on the paper review. This right here is the Nation newspaper, and the major headline right here says, alleged religious violation. Kwankwaso faces U.S. sanctions. Alleged religious violation. Kwankwaso faces U.S. sanctions, just like we were conversing about a moment ago. And then the writer there says, ex-governor Macban, others on offenders list in U.S. lawmakers' bill. Ex-governor Macban, others on offenders list in U.S. lawmakers' bill. Well, I guess it's safe to say there's fire on the mountain. And then still on the Nation newspaper, Lagos inaugurates team to propagate Tinubu's achievements. Lagos inaugurates team to propagate Tinubu's achievements. What achievements are we talking about? Well, grab yourself a copy.
That's your standpoint, asking that question. There are people that can itemize it for you.
It's actually a rhetorical question. I mean,
okay. Well, you go on.
All right, so still on the Nation newspaper, this one says, Dangote Refinery attains full restoration. Optimization of crude distillation units, CDU. Dangote Refinery attains full restoration. Optimization of crude distillation unit, CDU. That sounds like a bit of good news, and that's something you will find on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Okay, I guess that's it on the Nation newspaper. Let's take a look at the next one.
Well, the next one happens to be Nigerian Tribune. One of the major headlines there is on the Electoral Act. More groups kick over Senate stands. Bagaji, Utomi, Waba, Yerima, others flee decision. Dixon, the Kuka Center, Yaga Africa, tell NAS Conference Committee to adopt Reps version. Fixed Politics Africa wants Senate to rescind unpopular clause. That's on page 4, and it happens to be or form the crux of our conversation right here in our Benin Network Center.
In all honesty, I actually saw that coming. I knew groups are going to push against that clause because it is, for me, the most controversial part of all of this.
One thing I do see is that there's always these groups coming out, you know, to talk.
Yeah.
But do they really listen?
Well, it's one thing to talk, it's another thing to listen, like you said. But again, it would have been way worse if nobody was saying anything. Something
that's been commendable, I would say is commendable in recent times, is the fact that I don't know if per se it was the Occupy NAS protest that brought about the Senate's position in recent times. But I felt like it gave a push, you know, and it's encouraging to find that the youth still have a voice.
And you know, a big shout out to all of the guys that came out to, you know, do the Occupy NAS protest. But you see, one thing is clear. If, you know, evil thrives when good men do nothing. Okay. You understand? So as long as we, you know, sit back and observe, nothing is ever going to change. And that's one thing that we can't rule out. Okay?
One thing is for us to come out, and one thing is for those voices to be muffled or stifled. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen protests in previous times.
Let's not even go too far. The EndSARS protest.
Thank you. Where, you know, protesters and the voice of Nigerians or the voice of the youth are stifled. But for the first time, or for a recent time, I would say, and for a commendable time, we've seen that, you know, the voice yielded something.
Yeah, results.
Yeah, and it's really commendable. So, you know, let's go on to our newspaper reviews and look at more headlines on the Nigerian Tribune. More on Nigerian Tribune goes on to say, CBN approves BDC's return to forex markets, allows purchase of up to $150,000 weekly. That's on business. And you get to read all about it on page 7 of Nigerian Tribune. Moving on, Nigeria's total capital importation hit $21 billion in 2025. Oduwole, Minister of Trade, propounds this, and that's on page 6. Also on the business scene in the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Dangote Refinery's crude distillation unit, motor spirit block, hit 650,000 billion barrels per day capacity. That story is on page 7. Moving on, drama as Nwebonyi, Hanga trade word as committee sitting, That's on page 4. It goes on to say, Works Minister laments poor funding. More on Nigerian Tribune is on the Electoral Act. More groups kick over Senate stance. Bugaji, Utomi, Waba, Yerima, others flee decision. Dixon, the Kuka Center, Yaga Africa, tells NAS Conference Committee to adopt Reps version. Fixed Politics Africa wants Senate to assign unpopular clause, and that's on page 4. Now let's move on to our next point of call.
All right, this right here is the Vanguard newspaper, and on the Vanguard newspaper, the major headline here says, U.S. reps propose visa ban on Kwankwaso, Mietiala, others. U.S. reps propose visa ban on Kwankwaso, Mietiala, and others. And then the rider to that says, as U.S. lawmakers present bill on Christian religious persecution in Nigeria. As U.S. lawmakers present bill on Christian religious persecution in Nigeria. Seek terrorist designation for Fulani militants. Seek terrorist designation for Fulani militants. Militias rather, not militants. We are shocked. We'll respond at appropriate time. And that's credited to Kwankwasia movement. Kwankwaso caught in web of international hypocrisy and blackmail. And that's coming from the NNPP. Okay, still on Vanguard newspaper. Kidnappers abduct police officer. 4 others in Edo. You'll find that on page 4. And then this other one says, Dangote refinery hits 650,000 PBD capacity. And then that's you will find on page 19. And on page 21, this says, Makoko demolitions. Fate of 1,000 school children hangs in the balance. Fate of 1,000 school children hangs in the balance. And then, still on the Vanguard newspaper, Senate demands full implementation of defense budgets, once against delays. You find that on page 9. Senate demands full implementation of defense budget, once against delays. And then finally on the Vanguard newspaper, Umahi vows to resign if Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road project fails quality test. Now that sounds like a confident one. Umahi vows to resign if Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road project fails quality test. Well, I don't know. What's your take on that? That sounds like a confident man. Imagine saying, if this road project fails, then I'm out.
Aren't they always giving us...
don't you think, in all fairness to them, we should give them, the benefit of the doubt?
The other day, the EFCC chairman said something like that as regards the indictment of Yahaya Bello. Where are we now on that one? Okay. Well, it's not a novel idea when it comes to...
Change is the only constant in life, remember?
Oh, please. Oh, please. I have to say, well, you're still watching TMI on the ITV network. We'll take an intermission now, after which we'll be discussing one of the most consequential conversations in the Nigerian national space right now, the Electoral Amendment Bill. We'll talk all about it. We have very insightful guests to weigh in on this conversation. Join us again. Welcome back to TMI on the ITV network. And I did tell you that right now we're in another leg of the program. We're in our discussion segment, and forming the crux of our conversation this morning is one of the most consequential conversations at the moment, the Electoral Act Amendments Bill and the debate surrounding the electronic transmission of election results. Now, in recent days, the nation has witnessed intense deliberations within the National Assembly, public agitation over the removal of real-time transmission, the close, the Occupy NAS protest, and the emergency Senate session that has since produced a revised position. Now, at the heart of this debate is a critical question. Does the amendment provision, of course, strengthen our democracy, or does it leave room for ambiguity at a time when public trust in the electoral process remains delicate? We have a number of very insightful guests to talk about this. Now, electoral transmission has been described by many as a safeguard for transparency, while others argue that infrastructural realities must guide legislative drafting. I have a very insightful guest, one of our insightful guests, who I'll let introduce himself properly on TMI this morning to delve into this with us, myself and Harry, of course.
Absolutely.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for
Let's
having
get
me.
to meet you.
Thank you. My name is King Obamedo. I'm from the United States, and I have an NGO to help the people of Edo State, in particular, in general, in Nigeria. as a whole. And I'm here to actually just give my opinion on what I believe regarding the Electoral Act.
That's very good, because I feel like the position of Nigerians in diaspora is very renegated in some cases. Sometimes when we protest and we see also the Nigerians in diaspora also come out to give their voices, it is encouraging, I would say. So it's very, very delightful to have you here, King Obamido, on TMI this morning. So what's your position? The whole this and that on the Electoral Amendments Bill, the Senate coming out to say one thing, the protest, and now the amendment that still has a clause. What's your take?
Yeah, personally, I believe that it's an incremental change and common sense amendment that should be celebrated. I say this because anything that will make our electoral process fairer, more transparent, should be celebrated. I'm not saying we cannot protest. As I say, it's an incremental change. That is not where we are supposed to be, but this is where we are. There wasn't an mandatory transmission of the EC 8A before now. But right now, they have put it mandatory. They have made it mandatory, even though there is a clause. But there is nowhere there's not going to be a clause. Just for instance, they said if there is any glitch in the transmission, we should have paper trail. And even though in the United States we have paper trail, but however, that should not subjugate the transmission, because it's going to make it fairer.
Well, you don't think that them saying that is a way for them to you know, manipulate the people, and at the end of the day still do their own bidding, as we've seen in time past with, you know, the people at the helm of affairs in Nigerian issues?
I don't think so. You know, let me be honest. You see, the problem with us has never been the process. Trust me, it's the people. We can deploy any technology we have, but if the people you give the technology are willing to manipulate it, they will.
But the people do not act independently. The people need the powers that be, you know, to, you know, act as puppeteers. The people are more or less puppets in the hands of the puppeteers, in the hands of the bigwigs. Okay, I don't think there's anybody, anyone who mans the process, you know, that will just wake up and decide to manipulate the process. A lot of times it's in favor of one political bigwig or the other. What do you think of that?
Yeah, okay. I say the people, when I say the people, I include myself as an electorate of Nigeria. If before the election, I'm willing to take a bribe, if I can use that, somebody called me and said, okay, I'm going to give you so and so, you should vote for me. It is my conscience. You did not force me. Okay. You see, that depends on me. It depends on my integrity that I'm taking what you are giving me. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No matter how the technology, but if you bribe me before I vote at all, then you're gonna win free and fair, even though it's transferred electronically. Okay. But that is what I'm saying. Before we get to the process, the people should understand what they are doing. What are the significance? What are the implication of you taking money from somebody that is offering it to you? Okay. You are selling your conscience. That's what I'm saying. That it's with the people that has the bulk, to know the bulk of the issue. That is just including myself. I'm not trying to say when I say people, I'm part of the.
All right. Let's shift our attention back to the clause. Like she rightly said, some persons are beginning to raise an eyebrow as regards the clause, because they are saying it as an excuse, you know, to shy away from the crux of the matter, which is the electronic transmission of results. They believe that, okay, they might begin to use poor network as an excuse to do the needful, which will mean that we'll have to fall back on manual transmission. So do you see any form of, should I say, foul play coming up in this?
Partly, yes. But I will say, as I said, I've always said, there is no way that technology is going to be 100% perfect. But if there is any dubious intention for them to say, oh, we're going to like piggyback to paper transmission, that is coalition, we go to the coalition center. And
because we know how this has panned out in the past years. We've seen cases where election results are tampered with in the process of passing it from one hand to the other. So I guess that is the essence of this clause. I mean, this is the essence of this electoral amendment.
Yeah.
So how are we sure that this is not another ploy, on the part of the powers that be to manipulate the process?
Yeah, we can be sure if all of us are part of it to make sure. Okay, as I said, we have different technologies we can use. If Bluetooth is not working, we can use Wi-Fi, we can use Starlink.
Okay.
Right? But we should be part of it. But it's the people actually now that is actually, if we are not firm, there's nothing that is going to happen. There's no technology you're going to be deployed. That's what I'm saying, that all of us should be a part of it to make sure that before they say that, okay, there's a glitch in the system, everybody there.
So you're saying we should ensure we play our parts first?
We play our part first, including myself, before we now blame the process. We have to be able to make sure that, okay, before we even come to, there's a glitch. Any polling agent, everybody, the political agents, everybody know, and some of the people, elders, already know, because there was a glitch. They've tried Bluetooth, they've tried Wi-Fi, they've tried Starlink, didn't work. Then we can say, okay, that is fine. That's why I said there is no way there's not going to be a clause. There are parts that we're going to fall to the paper trail. There have to be a paper trail.
So what you are advocating for is that we have a variety of options, just so that when we've exhausted all of them, then we can, rightly revert to the manual. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That is what I'm saying. Because let me add something else. You see, a writer once said, I don't know if it's a philosopher, that it's not the abundance of law in a country that make the country successful.
Okay.
It's the people that obey the law. Are the people obeying the law? Okay, I can tell you now, I just passed, when coming here, I passed through a lot of traffic lights. How many people are obeying the red lights? Are there not traffic lights?
That kind of reminds me of, an interview I did with you for an article that I wrote talking about my colleague Harry, about the cancerous nature of Nigeria's polity and, how corruption is embedded in our society.
And I remember making reference to Ayikweama's
the beautiful ones are not able.
How that a lot of us pretend to hate the corrupt system, whereas we are, some of us, you understand, to a very large extent, we aid and abet the system. As a matter of fact, the majority of us are beneficiaries of the system.
Exactly.
Okay, so, just to take a leaf from, a previous occurrence, go back memory lane a little bit, before the amendment, the Senate coming to say real-time transmission is not going to be possible because of network glitches, and network not being available in some parts of the country. This is a developed country. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that is not a good excuse. If India can do it, we can do it. India has
very good comparison, by the way.
700 to 800 million electorate.
Okay.
They transmit electronically. I don't buy that kind of excuse. As I said, there are layers we can build, from Wi-Fi to Bluetooth to Starlink. I think one of those three, and there are more too. People we are technologically aware in this country.
Okay.
If we build that layers, that excuse I don't buy it from any of the Senate or any of the, those are not excuses. What I'm saying, in real case, the real genuine excuse that everybody knows these three or more are not working, then we can go to the people.
So if you don't buy that excuse, what do you think must have been their reason in the first place?
See, I cannot go into the minds of people, but probably
you can only
propose what you think.
What I think. Probably there is a dubious reason, or it's just they have thought about it. But I'm not going to inject into what people are thinking.
Yeah, which is subjective. Yes.
Yeah, they have to be objective.
All right, a quick one. Do you believe, or do you think that the clause, this particular clause, is going to raise dust somewhere along the line? Because Nigerians are beginning to focus so much on this clause. They are saying that if we are going to go digital, let's go fully digital. Okay, so if you're saying that if network fails, then we'll have to go back to manual, it means that we are not truly prepared to make progress. So do you think Nigerians are saying this as some form of like I said, are they skeptical about this? Do you think it might lead to another protest for us to go fully digital and that clause, to be completely removed from it? Do you think so?
Yes, of course, partly. Because of the dishonesty in the electoral system.
Okay, so there's no trust on the part of the people.
Yeah, that's not the part of you said what?
The people do not trust the.
They do not trust the process. You
okay.
see, this has taken place for many years. There's no trust. We should be honest with you.
Yes.
We don't trust the system anymore. That is why any little clause, people are just agitated, which they have the right to protest or to agitate. Because, okay, why are we putting this clause there? But as I said, personally, I believe the clause should be there. But however, the intent of the people that put it there, I don't know. But there have to be a safeguard in case one fails. Okay. But there are other, I don't know, we have time. But there's other ways we can do this paper trail. If we're going to go to paper trail, there's a way you collect these papers, you put it in a box. I come from America. There's a way you seal it. There's a tag. You see, before you even open it, yeah, there are a lot of people are going to be there. You take pictures. Okay. You know that it's not tempered.
So you don't have free access to it.
Exactly. Everything should be. For polling unit coalition. Let me be honest, because it's easier. Transmission at the polling unit, but however, when it fails, then we can go to. But we don't need to go from this polling collection center to collection. This is when the shenanigans happen. Okay. We don't. It's
very
easier.
true.
It's easier.
That's where ballot boxes get missing.
And that's where thugs, invade polling centers and unleash mayhem on the people.
Now we're not talking about who are the contractors for the transportation. Who are you giving? Are you giving it to your political cronies? You see, we can go on and on, but there are ways we can put safeguards in this. Okay. But for me personally, the clause is not a problem.
And again, don't you think we are not also putting some other things into consideration, especially issues that border on security? Because in all of this, security, is key. We can't be talking about transmission of results and not also put into consideration the safety of lives and property, especially people who go to polling units to cast their votes. We've seen cases in past elections where some people go to their polling centers to cast their votes, and then they get harassed. Some thugs and unscrupulous elements unleash mayhem on them. So, don't you think it's also important, to focus on the security part of all of this?
Of course, yeah. That's a very good question, by the way. That is where the security agents come in. You see, without impugning anybody's integrity, we have to have an electoral system where, if there is no consequences to these shenanigans, people are going to keep doing it. If the briber, go back again, if there's a word bribe, they are not arrested and jailed, then people are going to continue doing it. A popular politician said it in a rally, which I listened to that. How many of us have you stoned? Then if you have not stolen, we continue stealing.
So that's an indirect way of encouraging it.
To go back, the security agents need to be very vibrant, need to do their part in this. Yeah, we have to have police that are ready. We've seen a case where they are just nonchalant, as you said, thugs come in and do. No, that's not. It can't work. You see, as I said, I'm reading. I just finished a book right now, "Why Nations Fail," by Darren Asiniglo and James Robinson, if I get the name right. He was talking about the why nations fail. The summary of the book is about the reason nations fail is because of the weak political institutions and weak economic institutions. First of all, we have to deal with our political institutions. We know we have issues. Security is a key, because there is no society without security. There's nothing you're going to build on that society. If you don't have security, nothing works. You can talk about AGRO or anything you want, but they have to be secure. Yes, the electoral system have to be secure. That is where we have to bring the security agent. You are very right. That is just my take.
All right. Thank you so much, King. And here's where we have to draw the curtain on, your part of the conversation. Can we have your final disposition?
Yeah, I will say this. As I said, it's a very common sense and incremental change. That's the electoral amendment. We shouldn't play politics with it. Is this where we want to be? No. But there's already mandatory transmission. If I've not read the law, transmission already. But I don't think if the clause is the problem. As I said, we the people should do our part. We should not be a compliance. We should not be an accomplice to their shenanigans. If somebody is offering me something, I said no. then it's going to end there.
Okay.
That is just my take. We people should play our
So in a nutshell, it begins with the people.
Yes, including myself.
All right, fair
All
enough.
right, thank you so much for your invaluable insights on this conversation. We're still right here live on TMI on the ITV network, and we're still in our discussion segment talking about the electoral amendment, the Senate's approval of election transmission of election results. And up next, we'll have two more insightful guests, the person of Honorable Shedrack Udubai, who is a political analyst and former SSA to Edo State government. And we also have a youth mobilizer and the South-South Deputy Coordinator of NISAYA. He's Ambassador Terry Prince Oserege. Stay tuned. It promises to be very insightful. Welcome back to our top breakfast show right here on independent television, TMI. And we're still weighing in on our conversation, which happens to be the electoral amendments reform bill. And of course, we've been talking to a guest, and now we have two other very insightful guests. I have in the studio with us Honorable Shedrack Udubai, who is a political analyst and former SSA to Edo State government. And I also have Ambassador Terry Prince Oserege, the South-South Deputy Coordinator of NISAYA. They're all here to weigh in on their own dispositions on this conversation. They're both youth, so I'll say we are getting the youth position right now. Good morning to you. I'll start with you, Ambassador Terry. A wonderful morning. It's a delight to have you here. A wonderful morning to you also, Honorable Shedrack. Now let's start with you, like I did say. What's your take? What's your standpoint on the whole shenanigans that's been happening? First, the Senate came out to say, this is it. We're passing this reform. This is the bill that we're sending to the presidency, but we're leaving out the real-time transmission because of this, that, because of the fact of, you know, internet issues and glitches. So we're leaving out real-time. And then came Occupy NAS. And even before that, there's been agitation in the social sphere in Nigeria that prompted an emergency reconvening. And now they've come out to say, okay, we're doing real time, but with a clause. Okay, so but what's your take?
All right, thank you so much. Good morning, viewers. I want to say that on this particular issue, it is critical that we look at it holistically, because whether you like it or not, in Nigeria, we do have network issues. And then you cannot, remove that fact. Yes, it is proper for us to have transparency in our electoral system. So it is good that, results are transmitted in real time, okay? And I believe that is what the Senate has actually looked at to say, okay, how do we make this possible? But in trying to do this, just like I said, you must not take away the fact that Nigeria always have this issue of network. And in some remote communities or villages, you need to also put that into consideration.
But whose fault is that? Can we also say that that's a government issue?
Well, it's not a government issue per se, because the government is not the one in charge of providing network. Really? But I believe that the network, the government can do so much in trying to ensure that these network providers are able to do their job diligently and provide this network for us. Because even as we speak, everybody keep complaining here and there that network issue. It's something that we see every day. So the truth is that you cannot completely take that away. So in trying to, put these laws in place, you also need to consider some certain, people in that regard.
All right, I'd like to ask you, Honorable Shedrack. You just said that the network thing is not as much an issue of the government as we might want to believe. But, you would agree with me, I don't know, that the bulk of the blame still rests on the government's table, because it takes the head to effect a change. It is no news, like he said, that we always battle network issues in Nigeria, and it has gotten to its head, because here we're talking about election, and if we cannot deploy good network to do the needful in this election, then there's already a problem, don't you think?
Yes, but I like to situate the issues. When issues come into public domain like this, there's usually variety of opinions. And also, why are we even saying we need a electronic transmission? Let me explain to you. That portion is not new, it's not novel. In February 25th, 2022, we had a new electoral act that stipulated that INEC can transfer results as they please. INEC came out in 2020 election and brought a guideline and said, along with the manual transmission, which takes place everywhere, the collation of results in the world, local government and state and federal, there will be electronic transmission of results. That is to say, simultaneously, both will work together. When you finish voting your unit, there was no need for deployment of new infrastructure. It was the beavers they used before. They just added one new application. When you finish, snap the result. And even if there's no network, you are snapped. When you carry that machine into wherever there's network, along the road, the thing will transmit automatically. So when we say read time, it's a bit confusing. But it's not the one you transfer, you're going to use to count to. Meant you will still carry that result to the world to calculate. What we want is to put the result somewhere on the back end. Should the case they tap out the result along the line of collation, we will have something to fall back to say, no, there is a result somewhere. What happened? What happened is that during the 2020 election, as voting was going on, the APC circulated that they were losing as the results were being uploaded. They quickly shut down the system and they said they had a glitch. Fine, no problem. After the glitch, they called the results. The glitch was not resolved in the course of collation. They collated the results and they declared fraudulently.
That's a bold claim.
No, let me. They declared fraudulence of people who ought not to have won. There was outright manipulation of results during the collation center, both at the world and at the local government and at the states. What happened? We now say, okay, don't worry. We have the results. We know if we collect what we have on the units, put together, this is the person that won. We now went to court. That was where the problem started. The court now said that because in the Electoral Act, it is not stipulated that electronic transmission results, that they cannot use what's in RF. What's in RF is like a television for Nigerians to watch. That it is not admissible in court. They now also argue that no, even as the thing is not in the RF, it is in the electoral guidelines. INEC stipulated, INEC came out in TV to say there will be mandatory. They said no, because even the INEC guidelines is not admissible in court. It's INEC that just, but however, people argue that even the Electoral Act is what empowers INEC to make law. How come the law INEC now make is not admissible? They said it's not admissible. Because they try to preserve those ambiguities that will make it easy for those judges to give judgment in favor of their perceived interest. So Nigerians laughed. See, after the election, people went to court with about 180,000. There were 5 for presidential, 58 from gubernatorial, about 143 for senatorial, 417 for House of Reps, and about 557. People were generally aggrieved. What happened? Nigeria now went through that phase and they lamented, they lost woefully. And trade transmission was not a reality. We now came back to the same point in 2027. We are asking for a mandatory, listen to me, mandatory electronic transmission of results.
As a way to fix the problem.
As a way to fix, so that when you say you win and we go to court, we cannot go back, we can revert effectively to those ECSA that was done in the polling unit. We're not saying it's going to solve the problem of rigging. The units that they want to rig, they will still rig. But because they cannot be everywhere at a time, see, they don't call presence. They might, because for you to rig, some factors must be put in place. You must have what call federal might. You must have the security. Even if you are Agbero in the village, you can't come and beat people in your own village because of election. So even the issue of cloud, a tall cloud, is being resisted at a level. It's after they now pressure at the unit, they will not go to the war, they will not deploy heavy force. Because nobody goes to the war to vote. So it's only stakeholders that gather there. They will not begin to carry out the manipulation. With the aid of any official, there will not be wanton corruption. What we are saying, yes, there will be manual collation. We are not arguing that. Please insert that there will be mandatory electronic transmission so that the integrity of the ballot will be. You know the effect they have. When people just go to vote and they see, after they vote, they see that people that voted in my unit, for example, Owa East was 7 units, 18. There are 53 people that voted for PDP. After I vote, I go home. I go and check my phone and I see that the result is here. Look at my result. It's 53 people that won. Everybody argue, I show my result. Then after they collate in the ward, they also upload to the server. And I go and check the ward result for Ward 7 on 1 East. And I see that in my unit, it is still 53 that voted for PDP that was entered. I'm happy. Oh, this ward result came out well. And I look at the total number of people that won in my ward. And when whether I win or lose, is material. They now upload the local government collation data, and I go and check my ward. Look at the ward, what they wrote to my ward. Though this is 734 voters, and that's exactly what reflected. When those things are being done, people can watch what is happening. They will call the confidence of the Nigerian electoral process is being restored. the voters turnout increases, and people begin to see that, yes, Nigeria is willing and ready to reposition itself. All this is always says that they first of all came out in National Assembly, they went to pass the law. They came out and they said they did not make any amendment, they left it as it was. They left as well. Then when people now came out and they protested, there was outcry. They now came back nicodemously and said that it will be mandatory or electronic, which is exactly the same thing as it was before. In practice, it's exactly what it used to be.
So are you saying there's no difference?
There's no difference. I told you, I just explained to you what happened and how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be manual and mandatory electronic. Both of them must go hand in hand. Irrespective of whether you have network, those are just cheap excuses. You know, Nigerian government, you know, these people will see, this Nigerian government, they are always looking for a way. They are trying to, now, and National Assembly is not trying to think. They are trying to think for INEC instead of thinking for the people. All because they want to put some skewed legislation to dubiously hoodwink Nigerians and preserve those loopholes through which the APC and the Nigerian judiciary cannot thwart the electoral process.
Do you think that clause in particular constitutes this legislation?
Of course. You see the way and manner they act. They will leave the substance and focus on trivialities. You know, I call them scumbags. These scumbags put together. What they are doing there is not legislation. It's a sabotage to the Nigerian democratic process. It's an assault on the integrity and the sensibility of
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Shedrack. Now, I'd like to go back to you, Ambassador Terry. You seem to have some disposition while he was talking, and I'd like you to bear that on. But before you do, you're a youth mobilizer. You happen to be the one of the people in charge of the South-South zone of Nasaya. I want you to, weigh in on the Occupy NAS protest, which happens to be a youth it's a youth agitation on this reform. Would you say that this agitation was one of the reasons for the reconvening and, the subsequent position of the Senate after their first, meeting? Or would you say it's something that was bound to happen?
Well, I believe that the Senate actually looked at the cry of the people and then decided to say, okay, let's see what we can do in this regard. And in trying to do that, they have to also balance it, just like I said earlier. You cannot say that you want to put a problem to a particular thing and then you are not also looking at the other side of it, because whether we like it or not, the Nigerian state, the people are really yearning for, a proper electoral process. And that is why the Senate has to look into this and say, okay, let's see how we can, solve the issue. So students and youth agitation are something that they also, they saw and they said, okay, it's good that we look into this. So I am very, very sure that the Senate has actually looked into this very critically and they have come up with this result, this resolve, and to say, yes, let's do it this way. Let's allow for real-time transmission of electronic result, and also let's also allow for manual collation just in case we are having electoral network issue or glitches. So I believe that this is the right thing to be done, because you cannot just conclude finally and say, let it be like this, because if you do that, at the end of the day, you are going to find out that so many persons will be disenfranchised. So many persons are not going to vote, because when you have issues on that day where network is the issue and you cannot transmit results, people cannot, vote, and people who actually voted, their results cannot actually go. So this is my own position on this particular issue right now.
Ambassador, I would like to ask, do you think the sentiments of the people with regards to the clause to these electoral amendment is considerable? Do you think it makes sense? Because people are beginning to ask questions, saying that how are we sure that the government or the Senate or the powers that be, so to speak, do not have an ulterior motive, by adding this clause to it, just like he said.
Yes.
Do you understand? Do you think it's something that's founded? Do you think it's something that's worth taking cognizance of?
Well, the clause that you talk about, for me, I see it as something that, is required. Because if you look at the whole situation, really, it's not something that you could just, agree to say, let's just stick to one particular path. So for me,
so
this,
you see that as a backup plan?
Yes, I see that as another way of saying, okay, if this does not work, let this work. So because truly, you have to put so many things into consideration. All right. So that clause for me is something that I believe that they must have sat down to look at it very well and then see that, okay, it is good that we put a backup plan just in case so that some persons cannot be disenfranchised. So this is my own position on this particular issue.
What about you, Honorable Shedrack? Do you think that that clause is something that's pertinent, or you think that it's just the Senate trying to be sleek for the government?
Now, let me address the argument he's trying to present, that we should go with both. We have gone with both before. The last election was both now. They did a train transmission.
But you also mentioned that they said INEC should do their bidding.
No, we went with both before. The last election was a train transmission.
Yes.
And there was manual collision. And the train transmission, they had a glitch. We have done this thing before, both. What we are saying is that make both mandatory so that we will have both. We want both. There's never a time we're going to. It's only when you have electronic voting that will not be manual collision. When you finish for the local government, you must go to ward. When you finish for ward, you must go to local government. When you finish for the units, you must go. That process is statutory. Please add electronic mandatory so that even when they say they don't have network, even if they say they don't have network, that they catch up. We are not saying it must be real-time. That's one of the. For me, I don't want to go for an overkill.
I think but they are saying it must be real-time.
No, when you say real-time means that as you finish doing it or pro, whether there's network or no network.
That's the reason
that's the question. Yes, whether and that was what they did before. Now, I'm trying to tell you that because these things are not embedded in the Electoral Act, it is not admissible in court. So even if we do this thing now, we do it again as we did the last time, and there was no glitch.
The bill means now it should be embedded.
Electoral mandatory transmission of results, both manual and electronic. It's simple. See, why are they scared of it? See, I've listened very carefully to the argument. It is majorly the proponents of the APC. This thing is not a partisan demand. It is a clause that will, to a large extent, reduce the manual interference of electoral results, minimize manipulation, and ensure that the will of the voter, as expressed on the polling unit, is faithfully transmitted in the outcome of the electoral results. It has nothing to do. The APC are making look in our criminal tendencies, in their inclinations. They are trying to ensure that those ambiguities and loopholes.
You seem very adept on the APC.
No, it is them. You have looked at all of them who are agitated. There's no one APC person who has said no. That as in that just look at the people who protested in National Assembly. There's no one member of the APC that is there. Look at persons who are coming out in public air to speak. There's no one person who identifies who is not identified with the APC that speaking against, and it's irritating. Makes it look like these people just deliberately want to hold Nigeria by the jugular to ensure that the people see this thing goes beyond the election. Let me explain to you. This electoral transmission of results, it is not just going to improve the sanctity of the ballot. No, it's going to further deepen democracy and not good governance in a better direction. Because all these criminals who are leading us, they will not lead the way they are leading if they know that it's the Nigerian people that will determine whether they will come back or not.
Now back to my initial question.
That is the challenge. Because when people know that it is you and I that we vote, when they are leading, they will give recourse to your statement. They will do things that will please you so that you will vote for them.
Back to my initial question. I think I asked this question. I don't know if it's now or, just a bit previously. The fact that the Senate is saying we are not ready for electronic transmission in real time, is it admissible, or do you think that it's still just a ploy for them to carry out manipulative behaviors?
Okay, you see how much is INEC proposing?
No, being logical, do you think, you're also a network user in Nigeria.
It's a ploy. It's a clear ploy. We have said that even if there's no network in the village, there's no local government headquarters that does not have a full local government, there's no network in the full local government. It's not possible in this country. Say a full local government capital, that means nobody's doing POS in a full local government, nobody has a phone in a full local government. So even when the person uploads the results in his units and he goes to the local government, what collection says no network, he goes to the local collection, there still be no network. When he goes to the state capital, there will be network. The thing will eventually get uploaded.
In the first place, do you think the issue of network should even be a problem?
It shouldn't even come up. It's just a yardstick, a dubious tactic to try to stifle the process. What we're saying is that legislations that are targeted at strengthening transparency is being resisted. Why those ambiguities that preserve the power of the incumbency in preserving power for themselves, these ones are being preserved. See, INEC today is presenting a budget of 1 trillion naira to run election. What's one election? If they want network in, I think Akpabio said about 9 local governments. Is there not enough? 9 states. Is there no money for them to produce network for just those 9 places? If they say it's only 9 states that do not have, I know the full 9 states, just some areas in those 9 states. Nigerians, these legislatures, they are playing with the sensibility of Nigerians.
All right,
and they must
before,
know.
as we wind down, Ambassador Terry, now as we wind down this conversation, if there's one thing that you should, propose to the Senate, to Nigerians, to those at the helm of affairs, before the bill is sent down for assent, what will it be?
Okay, if there's something I would like to propose, that would be the federal government should do everything within its power to ensure that the network providers in Nigeria, in totality, give Nigerians good network. Because as we speak, the network issue is really a big problem in the whole of Nigeria. So I think the federal government have to do something in this regard to provide network in the whole of Nigeria.
I'm actually glad you had to say that, because initially you said that it was beyond the purview of the federal government. But I would like Honorable Shedrack to address something he said a moment ago. I'm calling our leaders criminals. Now that's a very, serious statement that leads to...
No, it was Reno Mokri, an ambassador of the ambassador to Bola Ahmed, who said he's a criminal. Okay. It's not just me. When I say legislation has come back, it was El-Rufai who came up to say that Akpabio is his comeback. So I'm quoting them. Those things are not my own. Okay. So they want to let them take all of us to court.
Anyways, our leaders are not criminals. It hasn't been proven in any court of competent jurisdiction that they are criminals. Well, a very big thank you to you, gentlemen.
All right. Just before we do wind down, draw the curtain and all of that, can I have your, final disposition, Honorable Shedrack?
Yeah, I want to tell Senator Godswill Akpabio that people who make peaceful change inevitable, makes violence, make peaceful change impossible, make violent change inevitable. Nigeria will resist this. Just be rest assured. Nigeria will resist this. Their dubious tactics to hold us in perpetuity.
Are you saying that you see another protest coming?
Of course, when they come together for a joint session, we'll close the whole place down. This is just a microcosm of the larger macrocosm. Nigerians are mobilizing, and they will see the full length of our action.
All right. What about you, Ambassador Terry? Your final words.
My final words is that the Senate should do everything within its power to ensure that the Nigerian state become a state whereby everybody will be glad to go out and vote. So this is my final word. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, wonderful gentlemen. It's such a delight to have had you on the program this morning on ITV in Avenue Network Center. And here's where we draw the curtain on our discussion segment right here on the TMI on ITV Network. Where we did talk about the Electoral Amendments Bill. We got to have these very insightful gentlemen weigh in on the conversation. Thank you so much, Honorable Shedrack Udubai, and thank you so much, Ambassador Terry Oserege, for your dispositions. Myself and Harry will be logging off now. Yes, and we'll be handing over to our colleagues in our Abuja Network Center for the continuation of TMI. For now, though, we'll take an intermission. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to the Abuja Network Studio. I'm Ogu. Like I said earlier in the course of this program, that from the Abuja Network Studio will surely be taking a look at the opportunities available for Nigerian youth who are thinking about studying abroad, especially into consideration the future of work, the ability to be able to study in a place that makes you be able to any conglomeration, any part of, and knowing that people can also work remotely. When you have the right qualification and the right school, you'll be able to do just that. And joining me this morning, all the way from United States of America, he breezing into the country the course of the week. I'm talking about no other person than Mark Baczynski. He's the representative of Chaminade High and College Preparatory School. It's a pleasure this morning.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. This is a pleasure for me to be here as well.
I know we've spoken a couple of times via Zoom. This is the first time I'm having you in our studio right there. And we've been talking about the opportunities available to youth who are for studying abroad. How do we prepare them? How get there? Let's talk about how Chaminade come into the scheme of things to really help opportunities for Nigerians who want to study in some of the top universities, especially United States, about Harvard and the rest.
Yeah, great. I mean, I'm lucky to represent Chaminade. You know, I was a student myself, having went to school there for both and senior high school, and I've been back working with the school for about 15 years. So I've been able to see exactly how Chaminade is over the years and learn about its history. And Chaminade started in 1910. We have over 116 years of history, working students from across the United States and all over the world. You know, so Chaminade, you know, started in 1910 as a book for students in 4th through 12th grade, and we continue that today with students 6th through 12th grade. And this year we currently have students from about nearly 20 countries around the world.
Wow.
What I like about it is, you know, it's not just an American high school, you know, it's a high school with an international flavor. It allows students to get out of their comfort zone and meet people all over the world. It allows them to really see, with this world shrinking each year with TV, radio, internet, you know, social media, you know, you can really, instead of just looking at a screen and learning things, you are learning from the people within your classroom.
Interesting, right there. You talked about becoming an international school where you have students from over 20 countries, and Nigerians are also interested. Growing up, you know about the kind of opportunities that are available in the United States of America, especially studying in the United States, how it puts you at the point to get some of the best jobs, to work for some of the best companies in the world. How does Chaminade come in when it comes to preparing students to gain admission?
Yeah, great. I mean, we say it right in our name. We're a college prepare school. We're preparing our students, university, and life beyond. And we do that through a multitude of different ways, not just through, you know, the academic studies, but we really focus on person, you know, that we focus on the whole man at our school. You know, we want to come in and be challenged academically in courses that they select. That's a big part of what it allows as well. You know, we don't just have everyone studying the same math, same science, the same social science, the same practical arts. Students have a say in what they study. So they may know that in the future they want to be an engineer, or maybe someone wants to be a doctor. Those two students are going to have different course loads while at Chaminade. One will study more in our, you know, automation, design, aerospace engineering, while another study biology, honors chemistry, AP biology, anatomy and physiology. So we tailor our courses to meet the needs of our students. Teachers are something we also focus on. You know, nearly 100 of Chaminade teachers hold masters or PhDs in their area of study. We do this so we know that they are very intentional on what they teach. They're very knowledgeable in their area of, you know, teaching. And it also allows us to work with some local universities. We currently partner with St. Louis University in the Missouri to offer university level coursework at our high school. Students are also learning towards their high school diploma, while also university credit that is transferable once they graduate. So, you know, what we also think as, you know, Chaminade is a Catholic school. You know, not all of our students are Catholic, but what they get with that within is a very nurturing family atmosphere, something that really look at the students not just as like teachable relationship, but more of a family, more like uncles teaching their nephews, big brothers, younger brothers. And that's not just with the student population, but the teachers and everyone on camp, counselors. We really get to know and really help them to succeed.
For Nigerian students who also want to be able to study at Chaminade School, what do they need to do to be able to get to Chaminade School to be able to study?
Yeah, so we have a range of what we're looking for in students, but basically students who are average to current schools, meaning they like to work hard in the classroom, you know, is what we first look for. Academics comes. However, you know, Chaminade also offers a number of different sports, club activities, because we think it's very important to get involved in the classroom. In the school community, but outside the classroom. So we have 19 varsity sports, you know, 19 top-level sports with over 6.
Situated in the majestic city of Benin, the home of culture and tradition, are two of the few wonders of the world in hospitality. Oti Hotel Boutique and Spa, number 1 Lucky Lane off Etete GRA Benin City, and Oti Luxury Hotel Sapele Road.
If a student wants to come to us and earn a Chaminade High School diploma, they will need to study with us for a minimum of 2 years.
Okay.
However, we also have students who may finish their secondary education here, and then they can come and study with us for 1 or 2 years in a certificate of Chaminade, which will then end with their Nigerian diploma, a certificate that will apply for either in the States or around them. But, as far as the application process, it's quite simple. We have an online application, which a student can complete, has some family information and a student section that asks about their hobbies and interests, has a few questions for them to answer. We then, depending on what year or what grade level they are coming in, we require at least 2 years of final transcripts from the school. We want to look at that over a 2-year period to see how they are doing, in their classes. We ask for teacher recommendations. So a student can ask either a math or an English teacher to write a recommendation. And if they ask for a second, they can ask a coach, a counselor, a principal, anyone that knows them well. Because we really want to know the good and the bad about each student. We want to know how they will fit into our program. Then finally, we will conduct a family meeting. Students are always
I like when they call it family meeting.
They're encouraged to come and visit campus, but if that's not possible, we can do Zoom, as we've talked before. We can do online. So I just like to see the student meet the family, really answer their questions, get them to answer some of my questions in depth, and we go from there. It's not a difficult process, and it's actually fairly streamlined. We offer rolling admission, so students can apply up to a year in advance of when they wish or desire to enter Chaminade, and our acceptance decisions come usually within a week after the interview and meeting process is complete.
Okay, and with what now, there's a major thing. Most Nigerians want to study in the United States, wants to take advantage of the opportunity you provide, Chaminade is providing for them. But there exists Donald Trump issues concerning visa restrictions. How do Chaminade work around this?
Good. I'm not sure there's a big way to work around it quite right now, but what I like to say is, yes, it is difficult, nearly impossible to get a student visa at this very moment. But things are fluid, things are changing. That travel and visa ban, if you will, was actually more of a blanket, and I think now the government is working individually with different countries to open those bans. So I think that if you do have that interest in coming to the United States and studying at a school like Chaminade, that you keep moving forward. It may be 1 week, 1 month, or even 1 year until things are settled, but at a school like Chaminade, you are welcome. Whatever you're seeing on the news, maybe people in the United States not being welcoming to families and students from around the world, it's a bit sensationalized, I think, because when you get to a boarding school campus, any boarding school campus, but particularly Chaminade, we have been working and welcoming young men to our campus for over 115 years. That has not changed. You will come to Chaminade, you will be part of our family, and you will succeed.
Okay, now let's talk about Scovers, your partner here in Nigeria.
Yes.
How do you arrange the program? I know there are some plans where you can be taking your programs while in Nigeria until you get out there to join Chaminade. How do the partnership work?
So with Scovers, I've been working with them for the last 3 years. I was actually introduced to them through the U.S. Embassy and consulates here in Nigeria. Wow. So it was a great partnership, a great meeting, and I've been really impressed with how they work with the local community and the families that they work with and how they strive to help them to be successful. They follow a lot of the same feelings that Chaminade has in helping families. How do we work together? Well, I'm here now. I'm here for a week. I'm meeting with schools and students and families, but I can't be here all the time. I'm either back home or traveling around the rest of the world. So I rely on them to honestly and straightforwardly promote everything that I've talked about today. And I've had very good opportunity to speak with their entire team, and I feel that they do a wonderful job. So what we can do is they work with the families to help them prepare. You know, maybe the student doesn't have exactly what we're looking for in terms of extracurricular involvement, or their grades might be a little lower. Well, they will spend 6 months, 3 months, a year, helping them to improve those stats, helping them to improve that, you know, whether that be through their individual work or through other partners they have in education. They will help to make sure that that student has the best chance to be accepted to Chaminade.
Okay, and the question is, what is the success rate of Chaminade in getting students to university?
Perfect, it's a great question. So actually Chaminade, over many years, has a 100% acceptance rate into universities. It doesn't mean we have a 100% matriculation rate. Chaminade is also very strong in athletics, as I mentioned, as well as we have some students who may go on to the military. So each year there may be 1 or 2 students who will go directly into a professional sport or go into the military. But even those students have been accepted into U.S. universities. That being said, not every one of our students is going Ivy League. You know, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Brown. Those are great schools, and our students do and can go there. But what we do is we have a very strong university counseling office right on our campus. They start meeting with our students even as early as grade 9 in groups to start telling them about the college selection process, how applications work, what to build for your resume or CV to be attractive to universities. And as you go through the years, we narrow down your university choices to what is best for you. You know, so everyone may think that the best school for, you know, petroleum engineering is this, but that school is good for a different type of engineering, and we can point you to this school for petroleum engineering, and then we'll talk about it, and the families will go, oh yeah, even though that may not be a school we were thinking of, I do see that it's a wonderful school. And that's what we do. We try to find the best fit university for each student, both academically, financially, potentially athletically, location-wise, and we do that for each and every one of our students.
Wow. You mentioned something in the line of this conversation, being well-grounded in all areas. You talked about sport. So you mean if a student from Nigeria gains admission to Chaminade School right now, and it's also very good in sport, there are opportunities for him to be able to get scholarship from Chaminade to study in some university and be able to...
No, that's a good question. At the university level, yes. Chaminade does not offer athletic scholarships. We do offer academic scholarships, and we have a number of what we call endowed scholarships that are specific for different reasons. Maybe a family whose parent is a police officer, or a family whose mother or father passed away. You know, we have a number of different scholarships offered, plus academic scholarships, but those students, when they come in, definitely have the chance to play on our sports teams, you know, whether it's American football, soccer, you know, tennis, golf, swimming and diving, as I mentioned, 19 different sports. And if they excel there, they can play at the next level and often can earn athletic scholarships into university.
Wow, interesting right there. It's been nice talking to you. I know how time flies like the wind right there before you know it. But any last word from you before we let you go?
Well, again, my name is Mark Baczynski, and I'm the Director of Boarding Admissions at Chaminade College Preparatory School in St. Louis, Missouri. We've been welcoming young men from across the world for 115 years, and we would love to see you soon.
Thank you so much, Mark Baczynski, for joining us this morning. I hope you are enjoying your time in Nigeria.
So far I am. Thank you so much.
Have you tried any Nigerian food?
I have.
Which
I
one
have.
are they?
Well, actually, for dinner last night, I had a little bit of jollof rice. And
Oh, wow, you tasted
some
Nigerian.
suya. That was quite spicy, but I loved it.
Hey, thank you so much for having the taste of Nigeria right here. We're going to take a quick break right now. And before we come back, we'll continue with another person talking about conversation on This Morning on ITV. Welcome back. Still This Morning on ITV, and this time around we'll be taking a look at the electoral bill that's been generating a whole lot of reaction right there. Nigerians are not ready to let go. They want to see to the end of it. They want to see the use of BVA. They want to see the result being transmitted at record time. And joining me this morning is Comrade Oluomotosho, who is an ICC professional human rights activist and public affairs analyst, and also the National Publicity Secretary of Action Alliance. It's a pleasure to have you this morning.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're coming at a time where a lot of Nigerians are reacting to recent impasse, or let's put it that way, involving the electoral bill. That people are criticizing the Senate for not doing the right thing. And also protests have also followed that. What do you make of all this?
Well, I see that Nigerians are really waking up now to their responsibilities. In situations where you have a government in place that major most in impunity and those things that really does not have a positive impact on the lives of the people. And the people are so docile without saying, without rising up to fight for their rights. Of course, the impunity will continue. But now that we are seeing the kind of reactions that we see now, shows clearly that Nigerians are waking up to their responsibilities. Now, the people that we have in position of authorities are just there, appointed or elected there. We send them on errands to go do something on our behalf, come back and they report to us. They should listen to us. When they don't listen to us, then we must check up on them to know if they are doing the assignment we have given them to do for us, if they are doing it well. So I think that's what Nigerians are doing right now. Say, look, you are not doing our biddings. We need to give you some kinds of correction and then redirect your focus.
My worry has always been the fact that when they take a look at our leaders, especially the Senate and the National House of Assembly, I just take a look at a group of people who are leading us. Are they not a reflection of who we are?
Of course, the truth is, whatever any Nigerian, any character you find in any Nigeria, every other Nigeria has that potentialities. The only thing that corrects or that put checks in others who are not doing the same thing, either, the evils that we see on our streets, is simply because of conscience. And then also, people want to look at, okay, where I am, who I am. What position do I hold now? A lot of people look at family background and all that, and they want to say, look, all those things, I won't do it because I don't want to soil the name of my clan and things like that. But then, when you get to politics in Nigeria, politics is a game in Nigeria that does not look back to see if they are really doing it or they are representing their family, the clan and the people, and even the tribe they come out of. I think there is need for us to, that Nigerians are waking up now. I think there is need for us to cheer them up, to hail them on, to do it and do it more. Probably, maybe our elected officers at that time will know that whatever they do, people are watching them. If they are not doing it right, people will come back to ask them. We will call them to questioning. There should be transparency, and then there should be accountability. If we call them to account, certainly some of the ills now that we witness now will no longer be there.
Interesting, right there. I take a look at the series, the people, the caliber of people that also led the protests we have recently, the likes of Peter Obi, Rotimi Amaechi, and stuff like that. Do you think these people are the right set of people to be leading the protest? Does it show a reflection of what the masses really want?
You see, when you talk about protests, you talk about people dissenting to what government is doing. We don't have any standard qualification for that. Now, anybody can. The policies of government affects everybody, even those in government also. Apart from the fact that they have laggies, because they are in government, they will cushion like some kind of subsidy to make them feel the impact of whatever wrong policies they have. Less than the people will do. So anybody that is affected can, anybody that's of the age of 18, Nigeria, that's the age of maturity. Now, anybody that gets to that age can come out to protest. And the caliber of people that get involved.
Because these were the people that Nigeria have been in their hands for the last 20, 30 years. And they only think about themselves. That's my own worry about those kind of people leading us.
You see, if they are coming, it's not just happening now. It happened before. Sometimes you had Ashwaji, the current president.
It will let the protest way back then.
Former president, blessed memory, Muhammadu Buhari was on the street. So it's not, it doesn't, that qualification cannot really be cut out to say these are the people that should be there. Everybody that is affected, everybody that feels the pinch of the bad policies the government is really now has the right to come out and protest. And if you don't protest and you don't make attempt to defend and protect your own interests, who is going to do it for you? In Nigeria, most especially, because we take the practice is people in Nigeria, people who are in authority, take pride in subjugating the people, take pride in making people subservient. They take pride in taking and extorting from the people. And if the people are so contented with that and they are not protesting, of course, that means they are urging them on. So if we are coming out now to say, no, we don't want it, we don't want this, things must change, things must be done differently from the way we used to know, then they will know, those who are there will know that the people are now aware of their rights. People are now protesting. People are now asking that we do things rightly. Of course, that would be behind their mind. In any moment, they are going into the mill to come out. To reel out policies for us.
But the question is, why are the senators finding it difficult to pass the right bill that will make life easy for Nigerians when it comes to transmission of results, transmission of record time, using of BVAs and stuff like that? Why are they not ready to let this thing go free?
Well, they have their reasons, and I think grossly the reason is because they are afraid, fear of the unknown. Electoral bill amendment, this thing we are talking about, has nothing to do with whether somebody wins or loses. Now, it's saying, take for instance, we are asking that the electoral bill should enforce real-time transmission.
Yeah.
Now, and if we are talking about real-time transmission too, it's also a relative. Now they are saying that the coverage, the network coverage, is not total.
Yeah.
But we have a report that tells us that we have more than 90% coverage. If we have more than 90% coverage, of course that's sensible. Now let everybody, and what we are even talking about is just a transmission of pictures.
Yeah.
Now when voting had been done and the counting had been done and everything, all agents have signed that this is the authentic result. Now the electoral officer is to snap it and then transmit it.
Yeah.
Now, everything does not end at the polling unit.
Yes.
Even if transmitting it right there, if it didn't get to the IRF, now by the time they move from there and to the ward level where collation continues, of course, in transit, that would have been done. And even if that didn't happen, by the time the machines are returned back to the headquarters or whatever, the transmission will be completed. So people, when they say, one thing they know, what they know that they believe that we do not know is that they have something that they are hiding. Now, what the IRF, the digital transmission, what it will do is, we will just use it to compare at the end of the day when the final result is declared. They are not going to use what is transmitted to IRF for collation.
Yeah.
They will still collate using the manual, the paper that were prepared at the polling unit. Now, what we need that for is when the result is declared and then there is suspicion, we will go to the IRF, look at the records
check whether there is disparity,
and then compare it with what we have. So that's what is needed for. Now, but they are afraid because they know very sure that they cannot win the election squarely, free, and fair. And so as a result of that, they know they are going to do some sort of manipulation. And by the time the RF is fully activated, and then people go there to see and then cross-check, now it will be revealed that they have done, they have manipulated the result. So that's what they are afraid of. So, and but what they do not know is that right now, what they are doing now is that they are making the people to be more suspicious of them. And of course, that will make us to be even more vigilant now at the polling unit and to make sure that our vote really counts.
Okay, and the last thing before I let you go, when you put into consideration what they are trying to do and the way things have happened so far, and also the way they've gone about the electoral bill, the amendment and everything, and you've seen that they are trying to get everybody to come to the particular party. Why are they still afraid of the electoral amendment bill? If they have moved everybody to one party, turn into more like a one-party state?
Well, they know quite well that what we are seeing is just a window dressing. Now, gone are the days when you have electoral victory depends more on leaders. The politics we have now does not totally depend on leaders.
Yeah.
When leaders will say, this is where you are going, this is where you put your vote, and everybody will queue behind. Now, that is gone. Now, taking governors to your party and leaders to your party does not mean that the grassroots will follow that governor or that leader. So they are quite aware of that, because the political awareness now on the streets right now had changed, had differed from what we have in 2023.
Yeah.
The people now want to go there. Everybody is feeling the pinch of the hardship on the streets. Everybody is feeling it. And orientation had given people the knowledge that if you want things to change, you must take action yourself. Take your life, take your own, make sure that you go to thumbprint, make sure that you vote your conscience. Don't take any money from anybody to sell your conscience for 4 years and then suffer and then begin to complain. So they are quite aware, and they are not too, of course, they are not sure that all the leaders that they have taken will bring their followers to their party. And that's the reason why they're doing that.
I must say a big thank you to you, Comrade Oluomoto Shaw, who is the National Public Secretary for Action Alliance, for joining us this morning and giving your own take concerning the impasse trailing the electoral amendment bill. Hopefully we can still have you another time to talk about it as we follow up with what's in it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So much from the Abuja networks to the right here. We'll be linking up with our Lagos networks to where Ms. Lena is standing by.
Many thanks for staying with us. We're still on CMI this beautiful morning on ITV. I am Marcelina Unkwo. And I guess this morning that will be helping us analyze today's topic is Comrade Geraldton Oshodi. He is a political analyst. Hello, good morning.
God bless you, Marcelina. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Viewers, greeting to you.
All right, this morning our topic is U.S.-Nigerian security collaboration, a new era or cause for concern. Today we are looking at a major development in Nigerian security landscape. You know, the United States has announced plans to deploy about 200 troops to Nigeria, not for combat, but to provide training and intelligence support in the fight against insurgency and terrorism. The federal government says Nigeria remains fully in control, describing it as a strategic partnership. But as expected, the move has sparked debates. You know, is this the boost society or security rather force a need, or does it raise important questions about sovereignty and long-term dependence? This morning we'll break it down. I mean, our guest here would help us talk about this, what this collaboration really means, why it is happening now at this point, and what Nigerians should be expecting going forward. Comrade Oshodi. Okay, the U.S. said they would deploy troops to Nigeria and help train soldiers. Saying the issue lately, and we saw this morning, a few days ago, yesterday, the one that happened in Benue State, also in Kogi State, you know, the issue of insecurity has been a major problem that we kept talking about every blessed day. And it got me thinking, and it got me asking, will the issue of insecurity, you know, finally come to an end in the country? With U.S. intervening at this point, I mean, they've been intervening, but now they're sending 200 troops to Nigeria to come help train our soldiers. What do you take of that? What do you think about that?
All right, thank you. Let's look at Nigeria to what it is today. I'm afraid, what I'm afraid is that the Nigeria of today, well, we begin to see white and call it black. The America in collaboration, let's use the language, let's first of all describe that. Collaboration simply means they're coming with their own idea. You understand? To mix up with their own idea for a goal. All right? And then look at the America's idea that they're coming in. If I may quote Trump word, that he wants to help all the Christians all over the world. And we know most of these killing in Nigeria are from the other side of religion. The Fulani Herdsmen, the Boko Haram and all, they're from the Islamic side of religion. And now this one is coming from Christians and coming to collaborate with Nigeria, military men who have already sold themselves. Because all this while, if not for the American strike, that Christmas gift, we would have still be somehow, I don't know what the issue would have looked like now.
Okay.
Because I know that American strike just came in and bring a kind of calmness to it, although it didn't stop it over. Now that they are coming on with their own idea, what are they coming to learn? I would have said for me, either they sit back to a country like Ghana also, once in a while they visit us with their strike. You understand that to come out to collaborate with us, you know Nigeria, what it means. I'm afraid that the Nigerian military men will not poison them. And I come in. When I mean poison, I'm not talking about killing them.
I know.
With their own ideas.
They're coming to help. I mean, to train.
Who are you coming to help? People that is already polluted? You understand? Coming to stay with them, don't pollute you. Just for instance, look at what happened. I don't know how true the rumors is that Nigeria will try to bribe the American government with $9 billion or something of that nature. Now from here to America, they want to send message not to talk of you coming in to meet them. I'm just afraid that they will not teach American soldiers because collaboration means come with your idea.
So you do not think it will improve Nigerians' fight against insurgency?
If the Nigerians allow the Americans to absorb the American, what they call the wisdom or knowledge of fighting, okay, it will help. But I'm afraid that the moment they come in here, within a space of time, Nigeria will buy them up.
You think so? You think Nigerian can buy them up?
Oh, we are good in that. If not for any other thing, we're not good for. This present government where we are, they're very good in that. They're very good in that. They are ready to give you an amount of money that you won't be able to refuse. What they want is for them to achieve what they want. So what happened to Nigeria is a problem. You understand? So what happened to we as Nigeria is not their problem, but what they are after is just what they want to achieve, they get it right. So when a collaboration, two people with different, and they want to fight to go, it's different goal.
I mean, we've been having foreign training before. So what would make this one different?
For instance, I do have before, if Nigeria police or army go out for foreign missions or whatever, they come out as the best. But when they are here in the soil of Nigeria, it's a different ball game. You understand? It's a different ball game. Why? Because the people we have at the seat of government want everything within them, and anything that will not favor them, they are ready to buy it up at any price. At any price. So America coming to collaborate, and like what I said, I would have still preferred them striking off from outside than to come in. Because the present government, are they ready?
No, okay. You said you would prefer them striking from outside.
Just as they had in Ghana for give us a Christmas gift.
Yeah, but now they are not coming to strike, or they're just coming to train Nigerian soldiers. I mean, don't you think that would help and that will work?
Anyway, if we can allow them.
Oh, you think we would not allow them?
We're ready to buy them up and give them our own idea. That's my fear. That's my fear inside. I just want 200 of them to come and meet Nigerian soldiers who the politicians have already, I don't know how to describe them, the security we have in this country today. Where you will see a country like, I learned one time in Kwara, there was a message to a village from the insurgent that they are coming to attack them. 2 weeks later, they went there, operated for almost 24 hours. Nigerian security men were nowhere to be found. Maybe that is where America is coming to come and teach them, if they are not going to teach America. Yes.
So they are coming to come teach us.
Yes. If we
so what safeguards should Nigeria put in place to protect national interest at this point?
Our safeguard for national interest at this point, how do I look at it? For me, it's too large for me just to answer here. But look at it from the seat of the government. All right? Because one, we hear that there is an order from somewhere that this thing should not be done and this thing should be done. So if we want to put in Nigerian interest, we should look at it from the seat of government. These present administrations should be harmonized. Just who is our chief security officer in Nigeria today? Is it not the president? The chief of army staff. He gives them an instruction. He's the one that we're supposed to have even sent America to come and date with or come and collaborate with. Oh man, this country, Nigeria, I don't know who have done this to us. I don't know. A few days ago, I just hit my children and I told them, the Nigeria they born us into is not the Nigeria we are today. It's different from the one we are born your children into. Yeah, because then, that time, then, you see the fear of the nation at the face of the military man, the police, the army, the navy, and all. They carry the interests of the country. You see there, you know they have come out to serve. Now, the set of people we have in the government, or to the police and all. Look, I just something that we're trained on social media. A small girl, that they asked, what would you like to do when you go? He said, police. Why the police? He said, because he see police collecting money from Keke. So he want to be collecting money. It's an insult. It was a big slap to the face of the police. And yes, go outside today and see what they're doing. Those days we were growing up and we'll tell you, I mean, man, don't just try to bribe them. They will force you to drink gutter water, or you roll on the ground because you want to try bribe them with money. But today, the issue is not the same. The bribe, insurgent, insecurity everywhere. Oh man, I thank God and I believe in God that God will help Nigeria.
Okay.
With the Americans. Okay.
Amen. Comrade Geraldton, some Nigerians worries about sovereignty. Is that a concern? Is it valid?
That Nigeria worried about
sovereignty.
If it's valid? Oh.
Is that concern valid?
Yes, I will agree with it. I will agree. It's a concern. You see, how do I put it to you now and the audience, is that I think, oh man, Holy Spirit, help me out. You see, Nigeria to what it is today, poverty have eaten so deep of this nation that we're not looking savior at where we know we don't even have savior there. You understand? Just take for instance, look at what is happening on our political realm. Well, the people we choose or we thought that would have been our voice are ganging up against us. You know what I mean by that? Every governor is decamping to one political party. Every senators are decamping to one political party. Everyone, and these are people that we would have been looking up to, a kind of light onto us, or representing us as a nation, or as what they call a community, kind of. But these people are not ganging up against us, and you can see that we're in trouble. You can see Nigeria is in trouble. Look, a few days ago, we are forcing or protesting for an electoral bill to be signed? A giant of Africa that's supposed to have been a light to other part of Africa. We are trying to learn from small countries like Togo, Congo, and Togo.
No, I don't think so. Do you think we are learning from them?
We are learning from them. I don't even want to measure Ghana. Their minds are ahead of us. You see the last election that took place there in Ghana, everywhere were calm. Now Nigeria election is worse than Boko Haram activities. Where somebody that comes out to go and vote, where you come back home, you say, God, thank you, without injury. And the senators that are supposed to represent us, they are happy with it.
I mean, we saw what happened, the Ahmedio, the Senator Akpabio. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, where he said, okay, in case network fails, we would have an alternative, which is manual. And a lot of Nigerians, I mean, they are not finding.
They have already made up their mind that there won't be network at all. Not even you are talking
people
about
are
people
still
failing.
speaking up. Maybe okay, that there won't be network.
There won't be network. Why are you talking about network fail? An election, there would there be network. They just want to cajole the nation. So be that say, make we sign the bill. We sign the bill and give them option, so we know what to do. And that fateful day, there won't be light. There won't be network across the nation. Then we go back to our normal system.
Okay, let's come back to our conversation for today. Do you think this collaboration will expose weakness in Nigerian's military system? The collaboration with the U.S. military and Nigerian military? That
is what at the beginning I told you I'm afraid, because Nigeria will not want such to happen. You understand? They will not want the Nigerians to understand, because these people coming in, I told you that it's of two different goals, but a collaboration means too many ideas for one goal. But this is too many ideas for different goals. That is where my fear is. Fear, because these people are coming out to put it right. And Nigerians, with the kind of system we have in today, they want to be there. The new thing goes, many of them have to be there. So to keep it better for come, they do pretend electoral bill with another option in their mind. They pretend, okay, let America come with another issue in their mind. That's where my fear is. They may come and pollute the America instead of America changing things for us. But I know to what America is with Donald Trump today, they might be so strong for them, then that would be a good thing for Nigeria to come. If Nigeria can open up, just cover their shame for 5 minutes, and let America teach them what they refuse to know. Good.
Okay, at this point, are we solving the root causes of insecurity by, these troops are coming in, or they're just improving military response?
Both would have been good.
Okay.
To each. Improving the military response, at least for them learning something somewhere out of what they have. That would have also helped to reduce, if not to stop, this insurgent issue, this killing here and there. But I think having my fear in my head then, that is the Nigerians ready? They ready? When I mean Nigeria, the government and the military men. Or are they just coming, just let these people come? Should be when they say within a few days they will go back?
I mean, they should be ready with the insecurity here and there in the country that we keep hearing. I mean, you're traveling, you're scared of traveling. Even in your house, you're scared because you don't know what's going to happen next. So they should be ready.
Are you not thinking that the government, the Nigerian government, are benefiting from it? If not because of America, have you ever seen any Nigerian government or Nigeria be president or the Senate in any of the attack they raise up their head one day?
So you think they're benefiting?
Of course, if not, why must we be waiting for America? Why should we have been waiting for America? Up to then, for the past how many years? I thought after all these things.
All right, we're still on TMI this beautiful morning. We'll quickly go on a short break. Just stay with us.
Who do this?
Still on CMI, and of course we still have a guest here, and we're still talking about the U.S.-Nigerian security collaboration, a new era or cause for concern. Okay, Comrade Geraldton, you were actually saying something. You can continue.
Okay, a new era for which we concern. Very good. I just so believe, I'm still entertaining fear, because I knew anything that comes into this country, if care is not taken, within few hours we corrupt them.
I mean, sorry for if you as a Nigerian should have this thing, this perception about Nigerians, that anything that comes in, we're going to corrupt and all. How do outsiders, I mean, foreigners, then see Nigerians? I mean, you as Nigerians, you've been hammering on fear. You're spending things you could corrupting to do that. I mean,
just look at how, when they knew you are in Nigeria, you start seeing yourself as if you are a spirit, because the way they will look at you, you start looking at what you put on as if you are wearing a Tata clothes, because the way they will look at you, because they see Nigerians, at average Nigeria is corrupt. They look, that's how they look at us, an average Nigeria. You dare don't go out of the soul of this nation. And when they see you, they know that, and this is not Nigeria. But one of my guys told me when he was going by land, he went to Japa by land. I think it was somewhere in Libya where they called them. When they found out that he was in Nigeria, the security man said, chain this man both hand and leg. He said, Nigeria, he will escape.
Wow.
So, and that is to tell you what these people have done to our name nationally, internationally. So, my dear, anything that comes into Nigeria, if we don't Nigerialize it, then which means the country is very strong. If America can calm down and bring a kind of sense of discipline to our Nigerian military men, then wow.
Yeah, you talk about discipline. I feel these are what they are bringing. All this, both discipline and all of that, are what they're actually bringing to the Nigerian military. That's what I feel. That's what the training entails. They're coming. They're not just training for you to fight insurgency or insecurity or the bandits and the ISWAP and all of that. I mean, they are coming to train Nigerian military. I mean, what I'm trying to say is it's the collaboration. They're going to do not just for you to fight, but this discipline you're talking about, I feel is going to be part of it.
When you are trying to bring a change to customs, you know what I mean by that? These are things that have entered them. They are being customized by corruption. And you just think America will come here with 200 men to come and change this man. Is it only the one in Abuja? What of in Lagos? Corruption has eaten so deep on this nation that it would have been better to my ear that America is coming to replace Nigeria army. Let's displace them out.
Oh. All right, Comrade Geraldton.
Just let them come down to replace them. That would have been a different way. Then we start recruiting. You understand? Those one the one we're now recruiting will learn from the Nigeria. Not these ones that are already poisoned. They are dangerous. So how do you come and change it?
Comrade Geraldton, thank you so much. With everything you said, that you do not believe this collaboration stuff would work. Because according to you, Nigerians military, they are already poisoned by the government.
I don't know the kind of vaccine that they are bringing to turn their hair around.
All right, thank you so much for your time, for helping us analyze today's topic. Thank you so much for coming.
God bless you, my dear. It is well with you.
Thank you all our viewers for joining our network studio this beautiful morning on ITV. We would be handing over to our Benin Network studio for the continuation on CMI. Just stay with us.
A lovely morning to you, and thanks for joining us on ITV News here for this time. I am Harry Igboje. Passengers aboard an Arik Air Boeing 737-700 experienced a tense moment on Wednesday as their flight was forced to make an emergency landing at the Benin airport. It was learned that the emergency landing was due to a fault in one of its engines. According to reports, the crew detected unusual indications from one of the engines while descending and heard a loud bang, prompting immediate safety measures and a diversion to the nearest suitable airport. The exact cause of the fault remains unclear as officials declined to comment. Sources confirmed that all passengers and crew on board disembarked safely with no injuries. A replacement aircraft was swiftly dispatched to ensure the stranded travelers reached their final destination without further disruption. 4 children who were recently abducted by gunmen at Ewuneka community of their northeast local government area have been released and reunited with their family. Speaking as guest on Independent Radio's flagship program, Man Around Town, the father of the victims disclosed that ransom was paid to secure their release. Thomas Sado reports.
Recovering from such a traumatic experience as kidnap is never easy. However, after enduring days in captivity, the 4 sisters appeared in the studio of Independent Radio on Man Around Town to share their ordeal. Recounting their experience, the girls said they were taken deep into an unknown forest where they were held for several days. They explained that while in captivity, they were subjected to various forms of torture before eventually being released. They were immediately taken to a hospital for medical attention.
So you see gun, they shoot gun. You can't even meet my sister or face. So we could ask, I asked my sister, she won't be all this one. All my aunt say maybe they want save us, something they happen. The next day they don't lead us to bush, say bush. They call say one of my senior sister will carry baby and some children. The rest they call purpose go inside bush. Chukuchuku and Banga of everything and cutlass so they did because all of them they affect my leg.
The father and grandmother of the victims confirmed that the girls were freed after a ransom was paid. They expressed appreciation to the police and other individuals who played significant roles in securing the release of their children.
I thank God to say all my children don't share. I give glory to God. I still thank ITV and radio where they say they announce the matter we can spread everywhere.
When my children still come out, all of them don't come out, they stay with me for years. I thank God, I thank everybody.
The 4 girls were said to have spent 8 days in the kidnappers' den before regaining their freedom. As at the time of this report, Edo State Police Command is yet to comment on the release of the kidnapped children. Thomas Sado, ITV News.
Let's now take a trip to the Center of Unity, where the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has expressed confidence in the timely completion of the major road networks connecting the Abuja Airport Expressway to Kuje and Gwagwalada. ITV's Wisdom Obakemi reports that Wike stated this Wednesday during a continuation of his project inspection tour in Abuja.
The FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, revealed the Kuje Airport Road is currently at 76% completion, describing the route as a key infrastructure that will transform movement within the capital city. He expressed excitement over the speedy progress of the all-important Airport Kuje Gwagwalada Road, noting that the project will be ready for inauguration by June.
First, you know that the airport to Kuje Road is the one road that's very key for us.
The minister recalled his last visit to the Kuje Gwagwalada axis, where he stopped near a mosque under construction and applauded the contractors for their performance.
Like the contractors have said, God willing, by first week of June or June end, they would have inaugurated this project. It's a very important project, so that you don't need to go to the through airport if you are going to go to town. So it's very important. We are very, very happy with what we have seen. Very happy.
The new road is expected to provide a major alternative route for motorists, cutting travel time and reducing the heavy traffic often experienced around the airport corridor. Giving an insight into the completion period of the ongoing Kuje Gwagwalada axis, Wike revealed that the stretch has already reached nearly 65% completion period.
If you take from airport to Kuje, it was 30%. And here I can see it's almost 65%, so I think they will beat up.
With June now in sight, all eyes are on the contractors to deliver the game-changing road that promises to end the airport traffic nightmare for many commuters. In Abuja, Wisdom Opakemi, ITV News.
And moving on, operatives of Edo State Security Corps have arrested a suspected kidnapper, a police constabulary allegedly found in illegal possession of arms, and detained 2 other suspects linked to firearm possession and theft in separate operations across the state. The arrests carried out during routine patrols and intelligence-driven operations was part of ongoing efforts to rid communities of criminal elements and strengthen internal security. Crime correspondent Jola Adeojo reports.
The suspected kidnapper and army impersonator, identified as Peter Ehotu, a native of Benue State, was arrested in an uncompleted building along the Oluku bypass axis by operatives of the Oluku Sector Command. Recovered from him were an army jacket and a substance suspected to be hard drugs, popularly known as ice.
They saw me inside bush.
Inside bush. Did this uniform who give you? Person a soldier or Air Force?
It's a soldier. Give you to help me hold on.
Your brother, I've been awaiting.
No, my brother.
In related development, operatives on February 10, 2026, along Amufi Road, arrested one Nelson Agbonze, a police constabulary officer who is not authorized to carry arms or undergo full weapons training in possession of a court-to-size firearm.
I'm a constabulary police officer.
Okay, what are you doing with this cut to size?
This one, so I also the user and still the match my guard. I know the user and still the man. I know the user and the worry anybody.
On February 4th, operatives of the Oluku Sector Command intercepted 21-year-old Sadiq Mohammed, a native of Yagba in Kogi State, during a routine patrol. A search led to the recovery of one locally made cut-to-size gun, 2 knives, 2 mobile phones, and a praying chaplet. Similarly, on February 5th, personnel under the Aho Uzala Sector Command arrested Victor Okereke, a native of Ebonyi State, in the Idokwa community of Benin City. The suspect was apprehended behind a church with window protectors suspected to be stolen.
You also say a guy been now carry the potato from off there.
Okay. So say guy be. Okay. Now you call carry the potato. So these ones now, what you want to do with them?
I won't sell them for fish get food for hand.
And you tell that your brother say they pull some potato and they not pull. They not pull.
The Edo State Security Corps says all suspects remain under investigation as it intensifies patrols and surveillance operations across the state. From Benin, Jola Adeojo, ITV News.
And still on the AM News, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has refuted a media report alleging that the federal government directed it to suspend enforcement actions on the regulation of sachet alcohol and 200 millimeters PET bottle alcoholic products. In a statement on Wednesday, the agency described the publication as false and misleading, stressing that it had not received any official communication from the federal government ordering a halt to its regulatory activities.
a news report on Wednesday in a statement issued in Abuja by the Special Advisor on Public Affairs to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Terence Kwanu, claimed that the federal government had directed NAFDAC to suspend all enforcement actions relating to the proposed ban on sachet alcohol and 200mm PET bottle alcoholic products. However, Director General Professor Mojisola Adeyeye said the agency operated strictly within its statutory mandate and in line with the duly communicated federal government policies. She reiterated that NAFDAC remains committed to safeguarding public health, ensuring regulatory compliance, and carrying out its responsibility transparently and in accordance with established laws and due process. Professor Adeyeye urged members of the public, industry stakeholders, and the media to disregard the report and rely only on verified information issued through the agency's official platforms and authorized government communication channels. And that was it on ITV News for this time. Thanks so much for watching. I am Harry Igboje. Good morning.
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
Once again, I want to thank you very specially for staying with us on the program Icons on ITV. I'm Sonny Duke Okosun. My guest today on the program is UK-based and, of course, has been helping young people fulfill their potentials away from violence and some of the vagaries of life that usually inhibit the progress and development of young people. Isosa Hekoma, Big Sosa Hekoma is with us in the studio. Thank you for joining us. Now, you said a while ago that you are in school now, studying criminology and sociology. How has that experience been for you?
Obviously, at first, I'd definitely say it was very, very difficult because not being in education and then going back to education, it's easy for you to feel like, you know what, what's the point? But it's like, for me, one thing that's kept me going is that I'm not just doing it for myself, I'm doing it for all the young people looking at me, looking to me, looking at me as a role model and everything else. And especially being a public speaker and also being a voice for these young people, is like everything I do in my life is basically make sure, I'll say to make sure that they know anything is possible. So it's like I have that burden too, on top of everything else I'm doing when it comes to the educational aspect. But balancing work and also university, very, very difficult. Even in being in Nigeria, like literally yesterday, I spent at least 2-3 hours having to do my assignment and everything else, making sure that it always get done. So it's very hard balancing it. But like I said, the education and the degree is not just for me. It's also a sign to all young people that we can do it.
You have 2 daughters now.
Yeah.
Beautiful daughters. So what's the level? How would you describe the influence of being, because now you are a father, you are a student, and you're also a worker. How are you able to put all of this together, especially the family life, taking care of your kids? Yeah.
I would definitely say, for me, it's a balance. It's like literally, I work hard. I always make sure I work hard, because at the end of the day, if you want to achieve something in life, you got to work hard, 100%. So always make sure I work hard. Always make sure that obviously I have time to spend with my family and be able to invest in my kids, because at the end of the day, they're the biggest investment I can make in this world. And then the university fits in when it fits in. Yeah. Like literally taking at least a couple hours to read or research or take time. But also because of what I study and because of the job that I do, they work together.
Okay.
So if now, let's say I'm doing a research on like, let's say false criminality. Let's say I'm doing a research on someone who was involved in like creating actually, you know what, the best one to use is Andrew Tate. So obviously there's a influencer called Andrew Tate, and obviously because I'm studying sociology, I had to write about it. I had to write about what is the negative stereotypes when it comes to masculinity and everything else. And obviously I focused it on Andrew Tate, and for me it's like I'm able to use that same information into my public speaking.
Okay.
Because whatever I find on, let's say, the research I've wrote, I'm able to then implement that into my profession.
Okay.
So it's quite good because they come in hand, the lived and also learned experience.
Okay.
And I believe at the end of the day, because I have lived experience of a subject, it's good, but learned experience has put me on a different type of standard, different type of category. And that's the place I plan on being, is being involved in rooms that I'm able to make serious impact.
Okay. You've been away for about 20 years. You left at the age of 7. You left Nigeria for the UK at the age of 7.
Yeah.
And now you're back after 20 years. Share with us what the feeling is like, and why was it impossible for you to connect home this period? I mean, I haven't gone through all that you went through, but at some point there was some level of stability. Is your dad still alive? Do you have somebody back home, maybe a mother, grandmother? I mean,
no, I would say that obviously, like my mom obviously tried to travel when I was 2. So, and that's when she disappeared.
Okay.
And when I was 2, my father died at the age of when I was 15. So for me, it was like connections with my family, I didn't have any. So I didn't really know my family growing up like that. Maybe at some point I might speak to my grandma and everything else, but I didn't really know my family, and I didn't keep consistent. And also over there, I was trying to survive. Not getting killed every single day. So it was like,
that was less of your concern.
Like, at that moment of time, it's like to think, oh yeah, you know what, I might need to fly to Niger quickly, or am I able to fly to Nigeria? I was thinking, right, I need to survive today, survive tomorrow, survive next week. And then, but also, I'll say later on as an adult, what also prevented me from coming earlier, before my grandma passed away, was that I didn't have my status in the country. So for me, if I was to leave the UK, I would not be able to go back to my kids. So it was like, I couldn't take that risk. I had to make sure that was sorted out first. And that was sorted out, thankfully, thanks to the UN, the start of this year. And after it was sorted at the start of this year, when I went to go speak at the United Nations, it was a fact where it was no-brainer I was gonna come at the end of this year to go see my family. But also, I thought to myself, I'm not just going to take this opportunity just to go reconnect to a family. I'm also going to take this opportunity to find out more about myself, who I am. Because growing up, I've always felt like I had a hole in my chest because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I come from. I didn't know my tradition and everything else. Especially trying to fit in the UK, easy for you to lose your culture and everything else. And I lost a lot of that because I wasn't surrounded by my people. I wasn't surrounded by my family members. I was surrounded a lot by UK culture and the UK custom. So I got used to that. And now, coming home and being connected with my own culture and where I'm from is one of the most important things. And this whole week, I'll say that 1, trying foods, 2, trying, pure water and all of these type of things and all of that. Like, these are the old things I'm trying, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, like, okay, it's okay. I can do with this. But at first it was very much like, oh no. Even coming there, like, and having my cousins and that, they laugh at me because I'm constantly putting mosquito creams on and that, because I'm scared. I'm like, yo, like, is this a mosquito bite? Tell me right now, like, I'm taking the tablets. Like, my cousins, they laugh at me because they think to myself, nah, you be UK boy. Literally. But it's like, I find it very much welcoming. Like being back home, getting in touch with my roots, understanding where my people, what my people have gone through, who they are. Like this whole week, I just remember sitting down and speaking to my team and just saying to my team, raw, like, Nigerians, young kids, they work hard.
Extremely hard.
They work hard. Imagine if they were given the opportunities that they deserve. If they were given these,
they'll fly. They'll fly.
No Nigerians will be problems, I swear. I swear. If they were given some serious opportunities, I swear, these kids will be a hazard to the world. And I'm not talking about it negatively, I'm talking positively. Like, they would make sure that this economy grows differently.
Okay. Let's talk about who when you look around from where you're coming from, where you are today, you certainly know where you're going. So who are those people that have inspired you, like role models? When you look up to them, you see their lifestyle, you see their life journey, you see their story that's really inspired you.
I would say for me, it sounds kind of crazy, but I would say Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all of these people where, for me, they were able to make change. Like, they were able to start a revolving door. And that's how I look at it. I look at it as something where it's like we're able to start a revolving door, able to, it's like if I don't end up making the changes that I want to make, at least I've opened the door for other people to make them changes.
Okay.
I'll say those are mainly my role models. But apart from that, I'm also learning obviously a bit more about Fela Kuti, his mum, the activism that they obviously how he used music as activism, how his mum was very standing up for women's rights and everything else. So I'm also learning about my own people, my own activists and my own culture, where I'm so prideful, I'm so proud of, like, literally, and I'm happy that I'm able to make them changes in the UK, but also now pushes me to think, okay, I can make them changes there. What can I do at home?
Interesting. I mean, when I first saw you today, I concluded that probably you're a rap artist, or maybe you're doing hip hop, or you're doing any of this stuff, the way you look. So this genre of music, which of them, really interests you the most?
Which one?
Music.
Question.
Yes,
music.
Yeah.
What type of music?
Yeah.
Me, I'm a Benin boy, man. I like Charlie Poppy. I'm a Benin boy.
Okay. All right. I know you left pretty young at age 7. So then you could speak Pidgin.
Yeah.
Can you speak Pidgin now? You see, Sabi speak Pidgin.
I'll say the most I probably know is how far now, how you did. Literally, even my grandma, and my grandma and my aunties and that, they tried to teach me, obviously, Tutu, Yoruba, like Akaro, Ekaso, all of these type of things and that. So for me, it's like, I'm learning. Okay. I'm learning.
So apart from how far now,
how you did, how your side.
Okay, it's improving. It's getting better.
What do you call it? I'm learning. Okay, I know a few things. I can understand. That's the main thing. I can understand.
Okay, now back home, you've been interacting with people, right? So, what projects do you have, like a platform to engage young people, dissuade their mind from violent activity? I mean, if you've been following some of the happenings back home, there's been a lot of issues around cultism, gangsterism, and all of those stuff. So do you have maybe like a project or platform to have that sort of engagement to dissuade their minds from stuff?
So for me right now, is basically, I feel like to make change, you got to understand the field and the economy you're dealing with. And that's where I believe this trip was very important for me. Because coming here at first was very much focused on trying to understand why people take that risk to travel illegally out of the country. And then obviously understanding that opportunities and everything else was one of the main things.
Okay.
It's a thing where, like, obviously I have a charity in the UK. So it's a thing where for me, I'm trying to then obviously see what opportunities I'm able to create over here for young people too. And I'll say it's creating work, creating, like, literally wanted to create like resorts and all of these type of things and opening more opportunities for young people in this country. But like I said, you've got to understand it to be able to think of a solution.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like this trip has been for me, is understanding. I'm here for like a month.
Wow.
I'm here for a whole month. I'm not here for no 2 weeks or 1 week and then think, yeah, you know, I'm going to leave. I'm here for the whole month. I'm here till January. And the reason I'm here till January is because I really want to understand everything. And I don't think even after that month I'm going to understand everything. I'm even sitting there with my team planning to come back next year.
Okay.
Like, I'm planning to come back a lot more so I can start implementing and be involved in making these changes back home.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, yes, I'm able to make changes in the UK. And I'm very happy I'm able to make changes in the UK. But I'm Nigerian. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
This is where my people are. Like, if I'm not able to help and make changes with my own people, then really and truly, who am I? Like, that's one thing that's important for me. That's one thing I take pride in. Like, literally, I'm able to make changes in the UK and I'm happy. The influence and everything else, being involved in the government, being involved in the policy changing, being involved in researches, being involved in documentaries, and being the face of forced criminality in the UK, I'm happy about that. But then now I've moved over to then being a face of criminality when it comes into the United Nations.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that too. But I'm also Nigerian. I'm gonna have to come home. My kids are gonna have to come here.
Definitely.
Like, literally. So if I'm not able to make these changes over here and also help my people, lad, I don't really feel like I've done enough. So for me, it's the vision is more than the UK now, more than the United Nations. It's also making sure I'm able to create something here. Like, if it's a little something to start that change, then that's cool. But able to create that.
Okay, what's your advice for Nigerians in diaspora who had the opportunity to make impact, but a little bit reticent coming back home like you did? I spoke with someone today in Canada. He was saying, or he heard that back home there are insecurity challenges, people are being kidnapped. You didn't hear those stories?
Of course I did.
Would I be comfortable to say that, you know, maybe because of your past life journey, that really didn't bother you?
I wouldn't say it didn't bother me. I'd definitely say I'm coming into a new country, like this. I might have been born here. This is also new for me, though. Like, so 100%, security and safety is always the important thing for me. But I'm also very, I'll say, aware of my surroundings. I'm able to read rooms, and they're also able to be observant. So for me, although that these things do bother me and these things do worry me, but I also believe that if we had more opportunities over here and them opportunities were created over here, that it'll be less. So it's a thing where, like, I can't blame people for how they're living or what they're being forced to end up having to do.
Okay.
But what I can do is come from a non-judgmental perspective, come from an open-minded perspective to be able to understand what went wrong and how it can be fixed. So for me, yes, I'll say yes, I was scared. But two, I'm also aware of the fact that personally, I know how to read a room and I also know how to read threats. I've survived I'll probably say 10, 11 years of people shooting at me, people trying to put holes in me. Like, so it's like for me, a month, I can do.
Interesting.
Like, literally, I can do the month.
All right, as we gradually conclude this interaction, how do you spend your time? You're not working, you're not schooling. What do you do for leisure?
I'll be real with you. There's a lot of people ask me this question of how do I, like, calm down.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as calming down if you want to achieve a goal or achieve a vision.
Okay.
Like, I'll say 24/7, we're constantly working. And that's just not, I believe if I can run a drug phone 24/7, I can run a business 24/7. And that's one advice I'll give every single young person. If you can run a criminal organization or be part of a criminal organization, then 100% you are a made entrepreneur, 1,000%. And that's one thing I encourage all young people that I work with in the UK. If you can run a phone, you can run the business. That's exactly what I end up doing. I use the exact same formula and the exact same, I'll say, structure of running a drug empire to create a business. That's exactly what I've done. And I believe anyone can do that.
I just like that parting shot. If you can run a drug empire, you can run a business. It's basically, you know, giving it the energy, that same energy that you had, and then of course you realize your potentials and fulfill your dreams. Big Sosa, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I'm sure there are lots of things to learn from the conversation so far with our guests here. Please don't fail to leave a comment on any of our social media platforms where you'll be watching this video. I would like to know what you think about this interaction. If you learned something, please share with us. We'll be glad to know. Thank you so much for coming on the program Icons on ITV. We wish you the very best.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's it on this week's edition of the program Icons. Hope you had a great time with us. Be sure to join us next week, same time on this channel. I'm Sonny Duke Okosun. Do have a beautiful week ahead. Bye for now.
ITV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
On the ITV Network News tonight, political realignment in Kano State gathers momentum ahead of 2027 elections. Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps emerges champion of Kada Unity Cup. INEC budgets 873 billion naira for 2027 general elections. Army Chief Shoibu says Nigerian Army's sacrifice key to Liberia's sovereignty. And Lagos NSCDC continues stakeholders meeting on protection of critical infrastructure. A very beautiful evening to you, and thank you for joining us on the ITV Network News for tonight. From our Benin Network Center, I am Lawrence Osifo, and joining me tonight in our Abuja Network Center is Charity Tanko. Charity, good evening and good to have you on the news tonight.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. Good evening, and good to see you too.
And in our Lagos Network Center, Aigboje Ikworia is on a standby. Aigboje, good evening and good to have you tonight on the news.
Oh, thank you, Lawrence, and good evening from Lagos.
All right, we'll begin the news in earnest, but you can watch ITV live online at www.itvradioNG.com/live and follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook, on X, Instagram, and YouTube, and TikTok at ITV Radio NG. Guests on a current affairs program 60 Minutes Nigeria have expressed divergent opinions on the Senate allowing the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC to have discretion in handling electoral results, warning that it could have serious implications for the 2027 general elections. The report filed by Esther Ogoro is presented by Ofure Aneto.
The guest questioned the Senate approval allowing the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to adopt both electronic and manual transmission of election results. They described the decision as controversial and warned that it could weaken transparency in the electoral process. According to them, inconsistency in the system have continued to raise doubt about the credibility of elections in the country.
The 2027 election, as regards the presidential, is going to be like a two-horse race, kind of, the coalition and the APC. And if you look at the parties and the personalities in the coalition now, I think the APC has, they have to go and do a lot of homework.
From the manual voting of ballot snatching, ballots, multiple thumb printing, manipulation of electoral results, the formicity and all that, and even the manipulation of the coalition itself, Nigerians have been to lose trust in the process because there's always manipulation everywhere.
In his remarks, Omorogbe Iwanfu said voters in Nigeria desire credible transmission of results of elections. He recounted several lapses in the system in the past. The analyst maintained that restoring public trust in the electoral system is critical to strengthening Nigeria's democracy. From Benin, Ofure Aneta, ITV News.
And on the Electoral Act matters, we have tonight in our live studio Senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, Senator Neda Imaswen, live with us in the studio tonight to give us a brief discussion about the Electoral Act. Distinguished Senator, good to have you tonight on the news.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, looking at the controversies surrounding the Electoral Act, now the question is, why does the Electoral Act grant INEC the discretion to choose between electronic and manual transmission of results without not lead to some kind of manipulations in the process?
Well, thank you so very much. But before I go to your question, let me correct. I represent Edo South, not Edo North Senatorial District. Right. And also permit me to use this medium to express my condolences and that of Edo South Senatorial District to the families of Mr. Idahosa, Charlie Temple, that's Charles Idahosa, Charlie Temple that passed on. As a matter of fact, today he was interned today. I would pray that God Almighty will guide him into heaven and help his family that he's left behind. I won't say that. Coming straight to your question, that is not my understanding of the Electoral Act as we saw it, which is, you're probably referring to 60 sub 3.
Yeah, clause 60 sub
3. Yeah. Now, the Act says, as we have amended it, says that electronic transmission is the preferred method. Yes, it has to be electronic transmission. Okay. But in circumstances where there are no networks, then the electoral officer can revert to entering his results in from EC8A, which is part of the whole process anyway. You know, results are counted, right? Is announced. Yeah. It's entered into from EC8A. All the agents signs with the security officer that are there, and then all of them are given a copy each. Now, the use of the word real time, transmitting real time, that has not been compromised. That has not been taken out at all. Okay. It will be transmitted real time. But we have gone further to ask, in the circumstance where that is not possible,
what happens? What
happens? Do we cancel that election in those polling units? Because in most of our rural areas, we don't have networks. Even in Benin City, even in Abuja itself, there are times we don't have network service. And so in those circumstances, what do we do? Do we cancel the election? Or do we allow the INEC officer, who had in the presence of everyone announced the result, sign and everything, and is entering into from EC8A, not continue with that process? So that was the question before us. And remember, we represent the people. Yeah. And part of the civic duty of a citizen is to vote. And when you vote, we hope that your votes count. If you vote, the votes are counted, you are not able to enter into RF. Do we throw it away in the dustbin?
No.
Or that's the point. So if the answer is no, therefore, what other method do we have available? Okay. If not, using the form EC88 as is required.
Okay, let's now go to looking at the safeguards that have been put in place by the National Assembly to protect or prevent the abuse of INEC's discretion in this process in selecting manual transmission of results in certain areas, and how the public can be assured that such decisions are not used to compromise the electoral process. So what are some of the methods that have been put in place by the National Assembly to monitor INECs to act beyond their discretion?
So in any polling unit, there are individuals that are there to vote. Okay. And I'm sure we all have our telephones with us. If the INEC officer says, I cannot transmit to IREV, and they say, no, you can't because we have networks here, he will have to do it. If he cannot do it, and everyone on that line, or everyone that is there that voted, actually know that there's no network here, I mean, they will understand. So we have not given them the discretion. It's not a matter of either or.
Okay.
No, it's not. You are going to transmit on the RF. That's what you're going to do. We now say, in the event that that is not possible because of lack of network, enter into it from EC8A. It's just as simple as that. See, a lot of people, it's easy to be outside and criticize in. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that when you are confronted with situations, you have to proffer solutions.
Okay.
And lawmaking is not just for now, it's also for the future. And of course, nothing is etched in stones. If by the time we go through this system and we also see the fault in it, the Assembly can also revisit it and see what happens.
All right. Now, before I let you off, quickly, what are some of the specific reforms in the newly passed Electoral Act? Do you believe it will have a greatest impact in improving our electoral process in terms of fairness, transparency, and also credibility in the electoral process?
Well, unfortunately, there seems to be a lot of distrust between the people and all governmental agencies, be it INEC, even the National Assembly or the legislature. The fact remains that if we can just allow ourselves to believe in the system and work with the system, it takes us. It doesn't take some aliens to disrupt or to do whatever nonsense that it takes us also to do those things. If we can also behave ourselves. Besides, in the electoral laws, we've strengthened certain provisions which says if you do certain things, you go to jail or a fine and jail terms. Those things those which used to be fine, we've increased the fine, and we have also increased the sum is 5 years plus a fine. Okay. You know, and so we've also looked at those situations and strengthened those areas. But it comes back to us. It comes back to us, the voters. Okay. It comes back to all the citizens who allows themselves to be used to compromise the system.
All right. Thank you very much, distinguished Senator Neda Imasuen, the senator representing Edo South Senatorial District. Thank you for joining us on the
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Moving on the network news tonight, in Kano State, there are indications that the political activities in Kano State are gradually gaining momentum. We'll take a short break on the news to continue with the news shortly. Stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us on the network news. And moving on in Kano State, where there are political indications and activities in Kano State that are gradually gaining momentum as the 2027 general election approaches. A recent development within the major political parties suggests realignment and possible shift in alliances and influence across the state, as Kano correspondent Abdul Ibrahim brings us the report.
The recent visit by the son of former APC National Chairman Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje to national leader of the NNPP Senator Rabi Kwankwaso has elicited public attention. While some describe the visit as symbolic, others see it as pathway of a wider political calculation ahead of the next election. Reaction from the party members and residents shows divided opinions. Some APC supporters insist that the party remains strong in Kano State despite internal wranglings. NNPP loyalists insist that the Kwankwasia government still commands wide grassroots support across the states.
This action, we are hoping it is going to unite Kano people. It will bring an end to the thuggery and fightings, especially during political rallies, political campaign, and during electioneering processes.
Kwankwasia, it is never people, not physicians, that made Kwankwasia. It has always been Kwankwasia that made people. You understand? When His Excellency Yabo Kabiru emerged as the flag bearer of the movement, there was a lot of outcry. People are trying to find out who really he is because of his nature.
The political landscape in the state has taken another dimension following the defection of the incumbent governor Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf from the NNPP to the APC, although elected on the NNPP platform. The governor's decision to part way his political mentor, Senator Rabi Kwankwaso, has reshaped alignments and intensified political debates. As political realignment continue, Kano State remains a battleground where emerging alliances may shape future electoral outcome. From Kano, Abdul Ibrahim, ITV News.
Back in Edo State, where the Edo State Governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo, performed the traditional kickoff to commence the final march of the third edition of the Kada Unity Cup amidst pomp and ceremony. The governor, who was represented by his deputy, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, also presented the trophy and cash award to the winning team, NSCDC. Pius Nsogwa report that it was an exciting moment for guests who include the Esama of Benin and the Honorary Romanian Consul to Edo and Delta States of Nigeria, His Excellency Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Usawaru Igbenedion, and numerous football fans as they enjoyed the thrilling encounter.
And the trophy in the hands of the captain.
Winners of the third edition of the Qatar Unity Cup NSCDC celebrating their victory as they lift the trophy. The Nigerian Immigration Service displayed the spirit of sportsmanship with their hilarious celebration despite losing the match to NSCDC and taking the second place. The first prize winner, NSCDC, was awarded 1 million naira cash. Edo State government later added extra 1 million, making it 2 million naira. In the same vein, Immigration Service went home with 1.2 million naira as the second place winner, while the third place winner, National Youth Service Corps, got 400,000 naira. Edo State Governor Senator Monday Ukpewu, who was represented by his deputy, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, said the state government is delighted about the tournament and will do all they can to ensure that sports thrives in Edo State. While on his part, the Esama of Benin, an honorary Romanian consul to Edo and Delta states of Nigeria, His Excellency Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osauri Igbenedion, expressed satisfaction with the organizers of the tournament as he congratulated the winners.
We saw energy and talent put to play, and we are very happy with what we've seen, and we have also picked some of the talent we have identified in this place, and by the grace of God, we'll put them to use in Edo State Bender Insurance.
Wonderful occasion. They did not play much. I'm so impressed. So exciting.
Medals and prizes were presented to the players and the officials, including the cup donor and chief sponsor of Qatar Unity Cup and former governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Nosakari Igbenedion, the deputy governor, and others.
It was a great improvement in both the fair play, the participation, the officiating, the turnout of supporters. Generally, all in all, it's very, very good.
Our chief host, the main organizer, our former governor, Chief Lucky Nosakari Igbenedion, for his continuous interest in Edo State, in sports, and in our youths.
This year's tournament has been full of surprises, but very, very enjoyable.
We're very grateful for being the winner of this year's edition, and we promise to continue like this. And we want to appreciate the organizer for coming up things like this that will not be war alone. They know us for.
Qatar Unity Cup is co-sponsored by Edo State Football Association, Qatar Plaza, Providence Hotels, IUO, ITV, Osiomo Power, Edo State Sports Commission, amongst others. From Benin, Pius Nsogo, ITV News.
Igbenedion Education Center, Benin City on Thursday held its 35th Inter-House Sports Competition. The event brought together students from Montessori, nursery, primary and secondary arms to compete in various sporting events.